Hey, welcome to the stream, guys. Yes, we are going to continue with the game called Football Manager while I get my chair up. One of these days, this chair is going to move up. It didn't. Yeah, it did. So, welcome to the stream. Yes, today, Football Manager 26. We're getting ready for the start of a new season over in England and definitely a new version of the game, Football Manager, right? Football Manager 27 will be coming this year for sure. There is no reason to believe that it won't. Having said that, we do have to admit, right, that it's very possible that that could happen. um, they are definitely going to be releasing the game. The question is whether or not it will address some of the issues that I have with the game. All right. And issues that many of you have with the game, right? Immersion, the UI. So we'll wait to see what the game is like. Before we settle on that, let's talk about the goal of today's stream. Today's stream, I'm going to try and create defensive variants. Now, I know I haven't really talked about it in detail. I plan to cover it in the guide for FM27. In FM26, the guide, the focus of it was the pyramid defense, right? So how to set up your shape in attack, your rest defense was basically a pyramid. Now, I still think that is the way to go for most tactics. That means in possession, you look like a tree, right? So you have three areas covered, and that gives you the best offensive and defensive coverage. Because in terms of offense, you will definitely have 5 channels of attack. In terms of defense, if you lose the ball, you can easily cover the spaces right quickly, and you don't have to worry too much. But however, I always find that when it comes to creating an out of possession shape, people seem to find it a bit more challenging. All right, okay, so guides may say, "Hey, do one thing," and you end up doing something different. We all do something. Wedge defense. I like the wedge defense. The wedge defense is the best defense right now. But today's goal is very different. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 3 defensive variants, meaning there are 3 ways, because that's a focus on my next FM27 guide. So what I'm working on, it's in the head now, so it's going to come out. Literally, I've been doing bits and pieces of that in all my tactics, but I've never really linked them up together because I haven't explained it. Because I'm waiting for somebody else to nick my idea and make it into a written guide somewhere on some website. But yeah. Anyway, it will happen, so I don't really care. Okay, so what's going to happen is this, right? So essentially, there are 3 different defensive variants in Football Manager. The goal is this, right? When you create any kind of attack that you're thinking about defensive shape, the fundamental school of thought is that you want to defend as 2 banks of 4 so that you cover your spaces. Okay, so we got that broad stroke out of the way, right? So how do you defend then? So how do you get that shape? So there are 3 ways people do it. The first way is to create just your 4-4-2 out of shape, right? So out of possession, you look like a 4-4-2. In possession, I don't care what formation you see. It could be something else to do that way. That's the way the game has been set up. The game has been kind of set up in that way, in the sense that you can create any system you want in possession and out of possession, but you want them not to be too opposed to each other. Okay. So you could set up like a 4-2-4 and you defend in a 4-4-2. Okay. That's the first one. The second way is when you basically ignore things like you basically creating a system which uses the same shape. You're attacking and defending it. Why? Because of counter pressing. Because in the first one, the counter pressing is affected because the 2 formations are not the same. In the second one, in the second variant, your 2 formations are exactly the same. So if you're playing a 4-3-3, you're attacking as a 4-3-3 and defending as a 4-3-3. Why is that another way of approaching it? Because it works, because counter pressing works. Okay, so that's the second way of doing it. It's very basic, very easy to understand. So basically, all you're doing in the second version is your roles, right? You're choosing the role. So you're attacking as a winger, but you want him to come back as a tracking winger, that kind of thing. So it's actually very easy to set up. In fact, I recommend that to a lot of people because if you're not really sure, that is the one that you go for because the room for mistakes is actually quite low. No? Your margin for error is actually quite low. So it's easy to make it work. Now, the third one is the most bizarre one of them all. Okay. Because this has an attacking out of possession shape and a more defensive in possession shape. Meaning, when you look at the tactic, it looks like the in possession shape is more defensive. But the out of possession shape is more attacking. So you're going like, what gives? I mean, like, why is it working this way? Because one simple reason. When you are in possession, you want your players closer together so you can pass the ball and work your way up the pitch. So you create like a very possession centric in possession shape. But then when you lose possession of the ball, you want to be high up the pitch so you can put a lot of pressure on the opposition so that they lose the ball and they give it back to you. So essentially, your out of possession shape is actually more attacking than your in possession shape, meaning you position your players high up the pitch. The roles could be more defensive, like tracking wingers. So those are the three broad ways. Now I haven't covered strikerless because strikerless falls under the last category because in strikerless systems, you're generally creating a system where you are trying to apply pressure high up the pitch, right, in a strikerless shape. And then when you are in possession, it's going to be literally usually the same shape again because you will be closer together and it allows you to counter press. So those are basically the three different ways of doing it. Now, what we're going to do is instead of talking about it, we're going to make them. Hello, Pick Money. How are you, man? Spurs fan. But before we do jump into all that, the season break happened, January transfer window happened, and I gave my file to everybody, and they gave it to me back on the 3rd of February, which is kind of cool, except now I can't register my team, I guess. I told them to come back on the 1st when they came out on the 3rd of February. Oh no, I hope I've got players. Yeah, okay, so far we have some players. Okay, are they unavailable? Definitely gonna be there will be unavailable players. Shiver, Star Wars, Redheads. Okay, so far they haven't signed anyone. Oh, Strand La, there we go. He's been registered. Jorgen Strand Larsen has been signed by my club. Wow, we've got some interesting players. Let's look at our attack because we don't have strikers. So they signed Jorgen Strand Larsen on loan. Oh, he's not bad, no. I mean, he's just a good target man. You know. Then we've got, who else did they bring in? We got Chermiti. It's not Chermiti, it's Chermiti. Jaden Dance, of course, the man who always gets injured. Do you think Curtis Jones in Liverpool? Curtis Jones wants to leave the club because he didn't get a chance to play for England. And he doesn't know what his future is at the club. So he wants more responsibility, right? So he's not, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there has to be a conversation that's, I like Curtis Jones because he is talented. I think that he has been a very underused player under a slot. I was very disappointed that he never got many chances to play. And I think that there's always going to be friction between players because the best players tend to have attitudes. So it's only a matter of time. Am I blind or is this screen dark? No, it's my monitor. It's your monitor? Oh no, it can't be dark. Wow, your screen. Man, Sinister Mephisto. I was like worried about you, like what happened to your monitor? Did you turn it off? Was spook. I think Curtis Jones could be a target for quite a number of clubs. But I think he doesn't want to play in England. If he plays in England, he might have issues. But I think that players should try and get into an English team, only because it's better for them in the long run. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that Curtis Jones it'll be a big mistake if he leaves the club. But Liverpool are not in the same financial position they were in 2 seasons ago. This time around, they have to sell to buy, so they might have to let him go. So we've got okay. Let's look at the transfer window. Okay, before we talk more, let's look at what's happened in our window. Okay, because in my safe, right, I have no control of my transfer window because the AI does all the signing and buying and selling of my players. So I could end up with a season where I don't have any wing backs. It's happened before where I had to throw away all my plans for the season because they sold my wing backs. I got nothing left. And there was one season where we were short of a goalkeeper. They signed five goalkeepers. But they're all bad goalkeepers. They were all terrible goalkeepers. So I was like, okay. Yeah, Curtis Jones, I think that he should stay. What is happening in this game with the opposite goalkeeper? Most of the times play over 7.0. If they're playing 7.0, means your chances are he's saving shots, most of the time. So most of the time I don't get 7.0 for the opposing goalkeeper. If you set it up right, you should be able to get. Problem is in the game of Football Manager, you don't know what kind of chances you're creating. That is the biggest issue with this game. And I've said it many, many times. So if FM27 lands, right, the first thing I look for is data. Because if the stats in the game suck, I'm going to say don't buy the game. Really, I'm going to put it out there again. Because for me, I only look for one thing in this game. Okay? Feedback on whether or not my tactical systems are good. Because you don't know. Like, you see, somebody just come in and says, what is happening in this game with the opposite goalkeeper? Most of the times playing over 7.00. See, the only feedback we get is average ratings, right? But in order for us to knock that 7.0 to a 6.5 or the 5.6, right, we have to create really good chances in and around the box so that the goalkeeper ends up conceding goals. But to do that, we need to know what our chances are like. But there's nothing in the game that tells us what our quality of our chances are. It tells us what our XG is, but that's useless. Okay, so we got Emil Holm. Emil Holm is a fullback, right? Okay, he's not bad. He's quite a good fullback. Yeah, he's a very good fullback. He'll fit into our team. So we got on loan and we signed somebody. But let's look at the bad news now. Who left? Who got kicked? Who's been booted from my club? Okay, so have I lost any big player? Oh, I haven't. Petrosky is gone. Oh no, Jakob, my man. The guy who can score from outside the area has been taken. He's Peter. When he first came, I had my doubts about him as well. Right, but he started cracking those shots from outside the area, and I suddenly fell in love with him because there was nothing in this to tell me that he was going to be great. His long shots were 40, his technique is only 10. So I was thinking, he's on occasionally he's going to shoot, but he turned out to score some bangers from outside the area. But he's gone. So we lost him. We know we lost Gallo. Gallo was a sad one. Gallo was really sad. When I lost Gallo, then we got Scott Keegan. Hey, I promoted him, right? Immediately left for 7 million. But it's okay. Because I have to use the players to the best of my ability. That's all. So first up. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna create 3 tactics, right? Okay, so we know that the third example I gave you was you create a defensive looking system, but on the counter attack, you're whacking them. Now, I like this the most. You know why? It's really simple. Because you can definitely use counter pressing with this. Because your players will be high up the pitch, right? So this is the one I'm talking about, Crazy Maisie, right? Crazy Maisie in possessions like this. So looking defensive, right? But, the players are quite high up the pitch when you move out. So you have to be very sharp about the roles that you set up. What happened to Williams? I'm looking at my players going, what happened to him? Oh, he's injured. Thank God. I thought he was out of the club. So this is in possession. Out of possession, bang, we're here. Because it helps me on the counter attack. So this is one way to set your defensive style. Right? Okay, I'm gonna show you the tactically what the three ways are. So this is the third way where your out of possession is more attacking than your in possession. So you can go into this kind of attack thing and go like, okay, my out of possession is very different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the counter press because it will work. Definitely will work. Why? Because your out of possession is more different. Now, the only difference is going to be when you create these defensive systems is your defensive line. Now, defensive line and trigger press are related. No? I mean, like if these three instructions, right? If the zone of compression is very narrow, then you want this to be as loose as possible, meaning trigger press is standard or lower. If this is defensive line much lower and the block is higher, then you want the press to be greater. So it works that's the relationship. So whenever you create a tactic, that's how you set it up. Okay, but let's see what we have in our team, right? So now we have two strikers. I think we got a few strikers, right? So we're gonna create the first version of the tactic we'll create is a 4-3. We have a tactic that looks the same in and out of possession, right? Okay, so that's the one we're gonna do. It's really simple. Let's create a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-2-3-1, right? So basically a 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1, we work like that, right? I don't know, whatever, you know. Okay, so I really don't like this game, because it's so boring. Okay, all right, okay. In possession or possession? Simple, right? Okay. So when you create a tactic like this, like so your defensive variant is actually the same as your offensive tactic. Okay? All right, so they're the same. Okay. Here, counter pressing definitely can be used. Okay, so you can go into your team instructions, immediately go, all right, we're gonna definitely use counter press. Okay, done. Okay, but let's worry about this later. Okay, let's just worry about the roles first, because if you don't know about the roles, you're screwed. Okay. So out of possession, what do we want them to do? Where do you want to defend? Chances are these guys can screen the center, very hard for them to pass the ball. So we get these guys to come back, track, we get these guys to track, and we get these guys to press, and we get these guys to press. So we do a squeeze on the flanks, right? Okay, that's it. These two in the middle can be, these guys can be both defensive midfielders, and this guy can just track, right? He can track the center, or he can just be an attacking midfielder, just work with these two to do the pressure on top. Now, one of the things I always recommend when you play a 4-2-3-1 is actually your defensive shape should be a 4-2-4, because it's actually very nice. These guys will go up and they do the pressure, or you can play a strikerless version, which is also very cool. So, but we are talking about the broad variants right now first. Okay, so this can work. Okay, then we come into here, we create this guy as a winger, we go this guy winger, then we get one guy to move forward, one guy, you know what I'm going to do next, right? So because in this game, if you can get the wedge defense, is actually very strong. So we go inside fullback, and then we get this guy to be a ball playing defender. We got wedge defense here. This guy goes up. This guy will tell him we give him roam from position, right? Out of possession, we don't have to worry too much. We give him roam from position, everything is done. This guy goes up. This guy is roaming, right? Okay, these guys are giving us our width. These guys are staying narrow. What we can do, if you can tell them to be a bit narrower in possession, so they sit narrower rather, and then we'll tell them to focus on bringing the ball inside. Okay, because they are alone on the flanks, right? So that's my goal. In possession will be narrower and bring the balls inside. Okay, so they'll come this way in. This guy will be in the center. This guy is going up. This guy is coming in here. This guy will end up here. So this guy is going to roam. This guy is going to give us width. So as they give us width, we go into the center. All right. So now we've got these two in the middle. Okay, fine. Done. So this is your in possession and out of possession shape. Out of possession, they're the same position. You can create this. All your tactics can be like this. All you got to worry about is your roles, right? Where are they going to try and win the ball? What about OIs? OIs also, you keep it simple. Okay, don't overcomplicate OIs. Okay, so we come into opposition instructions. We come inside here. We go inside here. We'll just use angles, right? So we're just going to use angles. We're not going to overcomplicate the situation because the moment you put in tackling, harder, trigger press, and all that, you have to think to yourself, okay, if I set up the backline press, it has to be a top-heavy tactic. It has to be playing in a high block. All right. So if you're playing a high block, do this. If you're playing a mid block, try not to do this. Okay. So we're playing a high block, we'll get tackling hard, and we'll come in here, and we do a trigger press. Okay. And that's it. So we'll just put pressure on the backline, right? Okay, so we come into the tactics now. Overview. Okay, shucks. Okay, so we come back into the tactics. Went the wrong way. Okay. All right, so we've done this, done that. Okay, we've done the basic stuff. Now in possession is this. Out of possession, we can be CB. Pressing fullback. Wait. Out of possession, pressing fullback. Correct. Yeah. Pressing fullback. Okay. DM. Okay. Okay, I mean, yeah, that'll be simple. Tracking winger. This guy out of possession is an outlet. So these two are gonna be outlets. He's gonna be a central outlet. This guy is gonna be a central outlet. So they're both gonna be looking for the counter attack. Okay. All right. So done. Okay. So this is what you look like. Okay. Now we're gonna quick pick. Boom. Simple. So we got who is playing. So I would recommend you do this like on this page. Like you want to have both, right? And you check. So they all in the same places. Right? Easy for you to set up, easy for you to check. Okay, done. All right. This seems fine. Let's go play a game. So this is the first version, right? Tempo. Now we look at team instructions, okay? Because we haven't done the team instructions yet. Okay. Mixed. Tempo should be standard. Width is fine. Attacking transition, we're gonna do a counter attack when we have the ball. Out of possession. Okay, this is where things are gonna get interesting. Now, what happens to your defensive line? The higher defensive line, the more higher your backline is to support midfield play. Do we need them to come up the pitch? Not really. We can set it to lower now. Okay. Now, if I set it to lower, I set this high. Much more. Okay. That's easy. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So what you can do, what's the difference between XG and quality of chances? XG is just the raw number that you get, but because every shot, right, that's taken will have an XG value. So it can be a 0.2 or it can be a 0.01. But at the end of the day, all that gets total into your game as XG 2.7, right? Okay. But what's the use? I mean, we had 10 shots, 20 shots, and the XG is 2.7. It's just telling you the total number of shots you had and doesn't tell you the XG. And the XG total is the most meaningless statistic in the whole of football. Okay. What you really need to know is the XG per chance. That is more valuable. Like things like how many chances do you have with your head? How many chances do you have with your feet? That is very valuable because sometimes you could have a tactic that's set up for crossing, right? But 80% of your chances are with the head. So does that mean that your tactic is good? Of course not. It means your tactic is jack shit, right? It's terrible tactic because all you've got are major chances coming with your head when you want them with your feet. So that's why XG per chance is more important, and this game lacks that information, so we have to dig through it by, when you're watching the game or you're playing it, that's when you pay a lot of attention to all these XG, like, oh, this is a good chance. Then you gotta lock it into your memory. Unfortunately, the bloody game doesn't even give us that per chance thing, which is my biggest complaint about the game. Yeah, because from a tactical point of view, it's like, for a new person who's playing the game, he's not going to know. He's going to look at XG and think that's the most important thing. And that's like the least important thing in the whole game. Yeah. Okay, so we got all instructions. Let's go here. Okay, we kept it pretty aggressive. Play through the press. Goal kicks are going to mix. Leave it to the keeper to decide. Okay, supporting runs. This is important. Okay, why is this important? Do we underlaps or do we want overlaps? Or do we want a mix of both? Now, I typically think that underlaps are very OP, okay? So I love underlaps. So I really don't know how they did this. Okay, so we got underlap and then balance, underlap. Okay, I like it. I like to do it from here. That's supporting runs, right? So you can select and then go underlap below flanks. Progress through both flanks. It means focus player. That means your guys are supporting the flanks. Your DMs are going to be supporting the flanks. Okay, passing directness, tempo standard, attacking with standard. Can leave it standard. The more important counter press is your tactic, the more narrow your tactic becomes. Okay, time wasting, balance will board the box. Okay, now we are going to get into the final third, right? Okay, the question is, I'm going to pass into space. I'm going to play balance. Yeah. I don't know how good our team is. Crossing style. This I will wait until you know my style, right? Most of you know my style. I'll wait and see whether we can get to the byline first. Okay. All right. So there we go. Tactic done. Let's go and play a game. Okay. Mentality is going to be. Okay, there are only two mentalities in this game you should be playing with. Okay, cautious or attacking. Right, cautious for defensive tactics, attacking for most of your tactics. Now, positive is possession centric. So if you want to start and you want to suss out a game, you start with positive. Okay. If you are playing in your face tactic, if you're playing you want to bring the game to the opposition, then I would suggest you play on attacking. That's it. Done. Okay. Patuele. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go on holiday until next match. Ding ding. I hope I don't have to register my team. Okay, wait, let me find out first. Because I don't know. All these registration. Do I have to register? Registration open. Damn it. Okay, so that means I have to register my team. All right, let's go to our team. There haven't been any major changes to our team. All right. I mean, I've brought in the players from last season. Who's this guy? Alexis Misa is on loan. Nobody else, right? Joe Redhead, under 21, and I filter unavailable already. Unless we have an under 21 player that's a standout. And to do that, I just do this. Okay. They're all on loan, except for this guy. Louis, what's his name? Maturana. Doesn't look that good. Too short to make it into my first team. JJ Mills. Alistair Graham. I mean, goalkeepers are always good to have in the second team, but he's already homegrown. Okay. He's 22 years old. He's already registered. Okay. So what about this striker? Christopher Harding. Christopher Harding, definitely. Okay. So he'll be promoted by under 21. Okay. Not too bad. So I think, if anything else, the under 21 player is decent enough. I've got to kick out the 3 other managers. There are other managers in this, right? So they are given a chance to. So we're gonna relinquish control for this guy, relinquish control for this guy, and we are off. So now I can zoop into the game. So if I were you, like when you don't focus too much, like league table like this, right? They give you this XG, right? XG table. What's the only useful thing about this information? Okay. Are you creating a lot of chances? That's it. I am. Okay. I usually typically with my best teams, always number 1. And my margin, I'm usually like 10 XG higher than the rest of the league, meaning my raw XG means I create more. This information is about how many chances are you creating? Are you creating a lot of chances? Right. So this is the important metric that pay attention to. Like for example, Brighton, I'm creating a lot of chances. 28. Compared to us, we're creating 32 chances in a game. Okay? So this is how you look at XG, as in chances created, not in terms of anything else. And then if you look at this number, it tells you your good luck factor. Okay? So that's how I like to describe it. Because if your XG value is green and it's a big green, you've been damn lucky. Okay, you've been super lucky. If it's like something like, because what you want to do is XG over goals ratio. Okay? Goals ratio. You have to think of goals ratio. If you take all your goals in the XG, right? Okay. You take total goals you scored, divide by XG. If the value is greater than 1.3, excellent for that player. But you have to also find out, you have to discount all goals that you scored from penalties. You have to discount all goals that you scored with free kicks and set pieces. Yeah. That way you can tell whether the guy is playing well. Hey, hello, shut up. I'm not playing. Okay. And, hey, look. You talk. You're the man who's supposed to talk to all the players. I don't talk to players. I'm not allowed to talk to players in this safe. I'm not allowed to talk to players. You're watching a 5-minute lag. Oh, God. That's exactly how long it took me to answer your question. So I don't know whether you're saying that I'm taking too long to answer your question or you really literally are on a 5-minute lag. How can you be lagging by 5 minutes? How can that means your country that you're watching it likes to screen all the YouTube videos before. Can't wait for your ways to attack streets. The ways to attack are many. Yeah. I'm going to do how to get your striker to score 150 goals like that. Yeah. That one is the main plan, but not for now, FM27. In fact, that will be the goal of my stream. The next year, my stream is all about 150 goal striker. Yeah. That's all I'm doing. Yeah. I'm not interested. I'm going to take the best team in the world. I'm going to create a 150 goal striker. I know people say, oh, that's my goal. 150 goal striker. Next year, I'm taking the best team. I'm going to manage Liverpool and I'm going to take I'm going to create a 150 goal striker. Unfortunately, shut up. I'm not interested. I'm not into all this. Okay, so let's go on holiday until next match. Yeah, I think it's about time I started doing that. Take my favorite team and play. I mean, I got nothing left to prove in this game. Yeah. The days of, we want to see you take a team that's a lower league team and bring them to the top. I'm like, yeah, been there, done that. Because it's going to be the same thing, right? It's about finding the players, slowly finding the players. Then when you get to the top, right, it's about finding better players. So what is the thing about this game? Finding players. That's it. It's not tactics. Tactics are tactics. You will find a way to score lots of goals. So then after that, it becomes a case of, I think I was obsessed with wingbacks one season. I wanted to have a tactic where the left wingback and the right wingback both contributed like 20 assists a season. And we did that last season, right? Both my wingbacks. In fact, this season also we're doing it. Wingbacks are creating so many assists, but that's because the game is such. The game is incredibly loves to create these. I know there are some people that are struggling with creating crossing tactics, like the players always not crossing the ball. But then I submitted a bug report to SI where I was creating cross conversion rates of 50%. So I had an issue. My issue was 50% cross conversion, and then the other people were struggling to get a good cross conversion. So I kind of think I fell into the. There's a sequence of instructions that you give. Like, for example, how do you get crosses to happen more often in the game? You have to use the focus play instruction. You have to use underlaps. That's it. That's how you get more crosses. How you get more field crosses in the game? You do overlaps. I guarantee you'll have a lot of passing backs. Right, the ball goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. The guy goes to the byline, doesn't cross the ball because overlaps don't seem to work very well. They just go and then they get blocked, and then after that they have to go all the way back. Yeah, it's just the way the game is set up. Yeah. So if you are playing a tactic where it's predominantly you're thinking overlap is the way to go, yeah, you're not going to get a lot of crossing opportunities because you get frustrated with the number of times the ball gets played back. So overlaps are definitely not a good instruction in Football Manager unless your tactic is specifically designed for, like Everton, right, to target man, poacher, and then you use the false fullbacks. Then when you use the false fullbacks, the guy is trying to go around, right? So as he's going around, he can't make the pass, right? But then you have this fullback that's in the half space already. So he will play it back to the fullback and the fullback does a cross. But that's the way to beat the system. So that is the reason why the false fullback is one of the best roles in the game. It is the best role in the game. Yeah. Because it circumvents the issue that we have with like over some of the team instructions. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's go. Let's see what we got. We're going to quick pick, because what the hell? Harding. I must have gotten a 21. Yeah. All right. I got this guy, Charles de Catalere. Oh, wow. They signed some interesting. We got Bravery of 9. Oh, my God. Pesque. Who the f is Pesque? Where did he come from? Pesque. Oh, my God. We got this guy in the team now. Bishop. I don't know who these players are. Where did they come from? We got Emil Holm. Okay, we got Vandenberg. Ralph Vandenberg. He's my defender. Yeah, I don't want him playing there. Okay, we'll play Emil Holm there. Okay, Beraldo Leone in defense. But Vandenberg actually quite smart. All right? He's got first touch. He's got passing. He's got vision and decision. So we'll get Wendy to play here. Okay. Then we got Mr. Strun Larsen. Okay, as a striker. Titi, and then Pesque. So apparently I lost quite a lot of players. Hey, you're not fit. You play, I don't care. Okay. Hey, What kind of assistant manager do I have, man? This guy he barely walk to the bus and he say, okay, no, we're gonna play him. So we're gonna undo this guy. Okay, let's go filter unavailable. All right. So we got, oh my goodness, Dance. Dance is there. Okay, Dance can actually play on the wings, right? Dance actually Chemiti, passing, vision, decisions, flair, doesn't have enough to play in this role. But he is my problem with this guy is his lack of aggression and his bravery. But he definitely is a playmaker. What you on? What you doing? Oh man, what you on? Edwards Patuole. I think we will have to bring Wachon because I like saying his name. McAtee is quite a good player. Yeah. I like McAtee. Mackie. Okay, McAtee, this guy. I don't know. I don't really like him. They signed him, no. He's never been my favorite player. I know he's at an interesting time, right? World Cup. He didn't play badly the World Cup. He did not, no? Okay, we're going to create this, right? So this is the first variant where your attacking shape and your defensive shape is the same. You're free to use counter press in this kind of setup, okay? Enjoy the match here, whatever. Okay, wow. I can hear the... All right, so we've gone this, and okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to... we went 2D already. What am I saying? Okay. All right, so possession, right? So we're going to play a positive because we want to keep the ball. But and then remember what I did in this tactic? The defensive line is quite low, right? Okay, so we maxed out on... because the defensive line is low, we can afford to do this. Where is it? Out of possession. There we go. Lower defensive line, much more, and higher press. So basically, the players in front are doing a lot more work, and they're gonna have to do it on their own. Right? So remember that we are a team that I have no power over signings. Okay, I have absolutely zero power over signings. So I have to work with what I have. Okay, tracking winger, tracking all the way. Oh, we gotta do a little berate. So this is the first way that you can create a tactic that looks like this. Okay. But only problem when your defensive line is very low is the support you get in attack is not that good. But it works. It does work. It definitely works. Looking at we are using two inside fullbacks. So we got a wedge defense when we have the ball. So we're a bit cowardly at the moment. So I don't think our stats are going to be very high in terms of creating chances. And we're not using work ball into box. 100% because we're not going to have enough time. Defended nicely. Ndoye is playing. Oh my God. Ndoye is playing. Oh. So you see what happens when you trigger press high, right? With low defensive line. Look at that. So you get the players all moving. That is a pressing fullback. So that was natural. ChatGPT. Welcome back, man. I'm doing okay. How are you? So still doing okay defensively. But we're having to defend quite a lot. But our defense there is quite low. Not too low that we are inviting long shots. Defended. And Chemiti and declared. Oh my God. He got a goal on his debut, baby. What a defending. Holy cow. And then we broke, right? Because we got central outlets, two of them. Bishop played it straight to the top. He's brought down. He takes the ball around and he goes on to score. Now, that means Brentford is coming at us because Brentford are much more, have a higher, they will. And the goal of this stream is for me to catch teams like Liverpool, Spurs, and Brighton to deny them a chance to, because they are controlled by you guys on the stream, watching the stream, because you guys are able to transfer players to those clubs. Me, I got no power. So I have to play with whatever the board gives me. So I cannot go and sign the best players and that kind of thing. I have to work with what I have, which makes this even more interesting. Okay, not bad. We got a goal against Brentford. So what, do we change anything? No, we don't. Okay, look. This defensive line just means my back line isn't going to support my midfield so much. So I know that when I cannot do this, I cannot do what is the everybody go up the pitch together to attack, right? That's not happening in this tactic. Okay, it's not happening. Okay, because of the defensive line. All right. If I wanted it to want more involvement, right, then I will definitely have to raise this a bit more. But I'm an underdog team, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so our tempo is just nice. Okay, and we can definitely counter press, right? Because the shape is the same. You see, why you defend with a low line if you press high and trigger more? You lost that concept. Okay, basically, what does a low defensive line do? A low defensive line keeps your back line closer to your own goal. Creates a gap between your back line and your midfield. Okay, that's what a low defensive line does. So whenever you go up the pitch as a team, that back line is not going to be running up the pitch like, being involved in every single transition, right? So that is what a lower defensive line does. Okay, that's your defense, and it affects everybody. That means it's like a stack. Every single player is slightly deeper as a result. But when I do something like that, I will have to play with higher trigger press, meaning because the gaps are now bigger. So I need my players to react earlier if a player makes a mistake. I don't want them to wait because the gaps are so big, right? So we need players to react a bit earlier. So this kind of increases the zonal. So each player's got zonal marking. So imagine a semicircle around this player. This increases the area that they are responsible for. Line of engagement is just high block. It means this is started by the strikers, right? So they will trigger off these four. So these four are basically defending on their own, and this group is a bit more deeper. That's what it does. So it creates a kind of it is one way of playing. I'm just showing you the 3 different ways, though. Yeah. There's so many ways to defend in Football Manager. You just have to become familiar and more experienced. It takes experience playing the game over many years and trying different things. I personally have used this once or twice before when I want to, I'm an underdog, right? I tend to do this more when I'm an underdog. Well, I don't want my backline to be too high up the pitch. Okay, so we got the goal. We got it on the break. Now we got this Chermiti is not playing well, right? So what do we do? Okay, so we go to our team shape. We look at Chermiti, go, Jakob Strum Larsen, you got a chance to prove yourself. Now we've got 2 fellas. Chermiti, Jakob Strum is also quite. Chermiti is not playing well, but he's got brute strength. That's what I like about him. Got Jaden Dance. If we bring him on, right, chances are he's going to get injured. Every time I play him, he gets injured. Okay, let's see if he is going to break the cycle around this season. Yeah, once you start using mid-low blocks. Mid-low block is actually very strong. Yeah, mid-block is very, very strong for most people. But I'm showing you play different kinds of style. There are different ways to defend on Football Manager. Not one single way. The most important thing is when you want to play this kind of a system, you have to make sure that your players have aggression, work high stamina, work rate. Because this will never work if your front group doesn't have those attributes. Oh man, the guy has got 2 goals on his debut, man. Okay, Starbo is not 100% fit, right? So we're going to take him off and bring on McAtee. McAtee can play on the left, I think. I think he can. Yeah, he's not that good on the left. Shucks. Ndoye is one player that can play left or right. Yeah. Yeah, he can play left or right. That's the good news. Starbo is oh no, not like this. This is a big mistake. Go to combine. Ndoye come here. Okay, and then we bring on McAtee. McAtee will cut inside from the wider positions. I think that's the last change. Does high press make sense in a 4-1-4-1? No, it doesn't. I have to what I mean by high press is there's a difference between a press and a block. Big difference, right? Because you see, the block is triggered by your striker. It's triggered by your striker. Your striker starts the block, these guys will follow. Right. So if you play a high block, then chances are when the ball is somewhere around here, the halfway line, that's when he starts to press. And this will influence these guys to get on the start doing their defensive work. Because I stretch the defensive line, it means that these guys are probably going to be starting a bit more deeper here. And these guys will be further back as a result. Right? So that's what it means. So it means that I am defending somewhere around here, this halfway line. But then how does counter pressing come into play? Because we are attacking as a 4-2-3, and these four are probably my only attackers in this tactic. Right? Are the only attackers. So we have to counter press when we lose possession of the ball since they're so high up the pitch. Otherwise, they lose the ball, they track, they follow the target that they were supposed to mark. So this is one way, right, to set up a defensive shape. After this, we'll do the second way. Yeah, so if the gaps are big, you have to press more. Yes, exactly. So if your defensive line and your block is big, right? There's the low defensive line, high block, right? You increase your trigger press. You'll be fine. Nottingham Forest away from home, we beat Brentford. That is a good win. That is a brilliant win away from home. The boss comes back from holiday. We go away from home. We score an epic win over Brentford. Because nobody expects us to be in this position. Some more, I have been on holiday for 8 games now. And this is the time I've gone. They brought in this new AP, and they haven't even used him yet. My God. My club. So I don't even know how they perform while I was on holiday, because I was on holiday. So I have been on holiday the whole month of January, but look at the way they've been playing. Because we left them. This is what my final results were. Defeat. So immediately after that, as a manager, I decided, okay, I'm going away on a holiday. I'm going to have some alcohol and drown my sorrows away. Then I'm sad. Oh my God, they beat Hull. They drew the Aston Villa. Lost to Brighton at home. Then we beat Chelsea, Everton, Fulham, Leicester. These 5 wins in a row before I came back. They must have been high. They drew away to Manchester United. Now we beat the Brentford. Man, they did well while I was not around. Hey, World of Warcraft, how are you, man? Hey, yeah, I've been playing Diablo, World of Warcraft, but to be fair, I miss this game a lot. So now we play Lincoln. Okay, now we did the first way of tactics, right? So this is one way, right? So this is very common. It's a very common tactical system that I use, right? I use this in. I think I created this tactic in the guide, and it's also in the Dropbox folder, right? Many variations of the same tactical system. Now, what you normally get. People doing this. Yeah, I show you now. Out of possession, they go do this. When I look at that, right, I go like, okay. So I'm attacking with 4 fellas. These 4. And then when I lose possession, I got to come back here. Now, when you set up like this, right, the danger is going to be when you lose the ball, right? These guys are going to come straight back. After they counter press, they feel they got a long way to run, right? So this is the reason why I personally don't like doing this, but it can work. But it forces you into like things like, I can't use counter press, because you don't know whether counter press is affecting the tactic. But when I play them here, they're already in their natural positions, right? So you lose the ball, they're already high up the pitch, so they can counter press easily. There's no like, we don't create a kind of like a clash in the logic. So if you play here, then you have to remove counter pressing, which kind of like affects the logic. So I don't know. So I tend to avoid this. But what we're now going to do is create exactly this kind of a tactic. Okay, so this is the way that we have all seen the game, right? So when the game comes to us, we get a tactic the first day. A lot of people, oh, you got to create a tactic like this, kind of thing. So what's the point, right? So very defensive. What if we created something very defensive? Okay, let's try something. Okay, so we are going to make an even more defensive tactic. So we got 4 fellas defending. Why are we making it to 5? Put 5 here. Okay, let's take it to the limit. I don't know if this is gonna work. This is the first time I've done this. Okay, so we gotta create a 5-4-1. So we want this guy to come in here. We want this guy to come here. All right, so that's the plan. So combine, we go to combine, or rather we go to both. That way we can see. Okay. All right, so we know who is the. So we want him to drop into this position. So we want this. Basically this is the box to box, right? So he's going up. So we don't want the box to box to travel all the way back. So we only need this guy to drop into this position, right? So we kind of need to move the box to box because we kind of need to move the box to, because the reason why the libero is here. Actually, it's not much of a problem. I just drop you here. Okay, all right. So he drops here. This guy drops here. Okay, there we go. So you notice immediately this guy, you see the game does tell you, no? This guy has got to travel a hell of a long way to come back, right? So, right, so he's going to have to travel a long ass way. So he's going to come from here all the way here to this defensive shape. Okay, so never mind. So he comes all the way here. This guy's going to come in here. This guy's dropping into here. And his role is a playmaker. So now he's going to play as a pressing defensive midfielder. Because there's no point him being a defensive midfielder, right? So I'm not a big fan of these kind of tactical setups. So, we're probably going to lose this game because I'm not that good at doing this. 5-4. I think what we'll do is we make it more proactive. Yeah, we make it more proactive. Instead of us dropping into very deep positions, they do it from here so that this guy's distance isn't so far. And because he's a BBM, right, he'll come into this position. So they will become screening central midfielders. Okay, so now what has happened is we create a 5-4 and a 1, right? So his distance now doesn't have that far of a gap to run, but we still get this nice little backline. So we get this guy to be a wide, we get this guy to be a wide, we get this guy to be a center back. That's fine. Screen. These guys can be. We don't want them to be tracking now. Yeah, because tracking means they don't do any work. No, just come here. Okay, this guy can be a pressing fullback. This guy is a wide midfielder. These guys can press all the way, and these guys will still press. So that's it. Okay, we got the shape, right? That's how you do it. Okay, so we created the shape out of possession, so there's no conflict, right? So the problem when you create out of possession formations, you got to think about where the players are going to go, the distance they have to travel, and whether they have the physical capability of doing what you want them to do. Now, the problem is this guy is great going forward, but he's hopeless when it comes to defending. That's the first problem. Secondly, you also have to check to see whether they can play in these positions. Like, okay, we wanted him to go from here to here, right? It didn't work because he's got no brains to play in this position. Do you train him for that? Don't bother. Yeah, don't bother doing that because it's just going to cost you a lot of CA. Okay, we've done this. I think we're going to leave it like this and we're going to go. Now, in this tactic, we're going to send this guy forward and send this guy forward. Okay, fullback. All right. Now, the other problem I have is low defensive line. Meaning that our tactic is only very limited attacking potential in this tactic. Why? Because, you see, if I'm playing a low defensive line setup, right, it means that my back line isn't supporting play. But right now, I'm going to use fullbacks, right? So these guys better get up the pitch, right? So we are going to check that. So this is going to affect our going forward. So I got standard because I'm not sure. I drop this by 1 notch straight away. It's that easy. So you drop it by 1 notch. Okay. All right. Done. Okay. So we got the same players, but now since you're playing Lincoln, we can rest players. So we can go go on holiday, next match. So that's our next tactic. I saw you on Diablo this weekend. Would have popped in, but I was busy. Yeah, I was playing Diablo. Seriously, I need help with Diablo. You guys, any of you good at Diablo or not? Because I'm thinking to myself, right, that there must be a way to create an app for Diablo. Because, right, you are looking at so many permutations for damage, no? I'm like thinking, okay, I got to craft a ring that's got critical strike chance, vulnerable damage multiplier, critical strike damage. But what if I use all damage multiplier? How does it work on my build? My build is doing this kind of damage, but I might want to change to this. I want to do, because I can do 1,000,000,000 damage on a dummy. There's no issue. But the moment I play a 130, I'm like struggling as a druid, man. I'm like, oh, I can complete the thing, but the moment the butcher shows up, I'm in trouble. So I'm like, I have to draw the butcher away from the rest of the mob. Yeah. I used to play a barbarian, so it used to be quite easy for me when I was playing a barbarian. I didn't realize how easy it was playing a barbarian until I started playing with a druid. But I suspect every class has these nuances. I saw you. High press makes sense. I don't think high press is going to be that good now. 4-1-4-1. You can play a mid block high press. You can play a high press in a 4-1-4-1, but your in possession, out of possession is more important. You can play a 4-1-4-1 high press. Definitely can. Is your attacking setup will be more like a 4-2-3-1 then? Or a Yeah, you can play a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, you can play a 4-2-3-1 attacking setup. Then you can play a 4-1-4-1 out of possession. Definitely can. It's your own imagination here. Who will get in the way of the pressing fullbacks? But they get in the way of the pressing fullbacks. The some roles again. Yeah, in the back five, the two wide players cannot be tracking. They will just get into trouble. They will just get in the way of not only the fullbacks but also the centre backs. You want them to be a bit more aggressive. In fact, you can actually, right, if I was setting this up, right, I would have very attacking setups. Yeah. There are lots of ways to set up tactics on Football Manager. There are loads of approaches when it comes to creating defensive shapes. This is just one of them. No? My favorite is not this. My favorite is you create an attacking defensive shape. That is my ultimate favorite. That provides the most entertaining football for me. This, the one we just did, right, which is the basic one, right, the one that I tell most people to go to when they first starting out the game, because then they get a stable tactic. In this one, you literally if you get a counter attack, it's going to be a beautiful counter attack. Like just now what we did, we scored one goal, was a beautiful counter attack, right? And then the second goal was possession based. We got it up the pitch, and we scored a brilliant second goal. But we had a very solid defense. So it makes when you play the same shape, you get solid defenses. It's when you play two different shapes that you have to start getting a bit worried. Okay, so now we have to think. You see, the shapes are different, right? So the first thing I do when I see two different shapes is I go like, okay, counter attack can work. Out of possession, this cannot work. Yeah, play on standard. So we got high press, we got more, because there's a big ass gap that I want to cover. I mean, we can play a low defensive line, but the low defensive line is these two players. These are two players I'm worried about, right? So we will see how far up the pitch we need to bring them. I mean, we can go with a lower defensive line and high press. Yeah, no need. We can actually do that. Yeah, actually, I was thinking that we can. The reason is because there's no DM playing this tactic, so we don't have a DM. So what I'll do is I'll do this. We go like this. We got no DM in our tactic, so we'll try this first. Okay, same principle. Why is it like this? Because I got no DM. No DM. So, and then secondly is this might encourage these guys to press high up the pitch. Now we're gonna have to play with different players. We'll play with McAtee here. We give Pesky a chance to play. Pesky is new. Bischoff a chance to play. Dance a chance to play. Leone a chance to play. Can Australia a chance to play? Everybody's getting a chance to play. Manager is in a good mood. No? Fujita! No, Fujita stay on the bench. Okay. Okay, here we go. McAtee playing here. Oh God, I'm asking for trouble. Yeah. Isn't the gap too high with high press in your OP system? What gap? Yeah, that's why it pays to pay attention to the game. Because you're only looking at the defending. Right? So what you do when you see something like that, you go to comprehensive. All you're looking for is, do they step out too soon? That's all. So we got the ball. Okay. In possession, we're looking quite solid. Okay. Gaps are just nice. Remember, we are playing a 4-2-3-1 possession, right? And fullbacks are supposed to be high up the pitch, right? Now we lose the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you look. He's not counter pressing. You see this? He's not counter pressing. Now, if I want to test this out further, I can prove to you all that counter pressing is a problem when your shapes are not the same. Okay, so I do this. Okay, I left it. I'm positive mentality. He should have counter press, right? But he didn't. Okay, we had possession. He didn't win the ball back, but that's high up the pitch. Defensively solid. I mean, against this team, we should win. We can do a lot of experiments with this team. So now we got a low defensive line and a high block. So once again, stretching the whole shape. Okay, what we can do against a weaker team, right? You have no reason not to do this. You got no reason. No, you cannot come up with any reason that says, I can't do this. Where is it? Crossing style, low cross. No reason why you can't go to the byline. If you are playing a lower team and you can't do it, right, you're in trouble. And you can also lower tempo. You can play a normal or low. Isn't the gap? Don't worry about the gap. Always pay attention to your team when they lose the ball. And if you have, the goal was, I don't want to see 3 fellas going for the same player. That's all. There. So far it's good. Because the gaps are very high, right? So the gap between the defensive line, the only problem with the lower defensive line is going to be these guys, these fullbacks, whether they support midfield enough. So they're waiting until the ball is made into the... there we go. Now watch this. This is the biggest clue you're going to get when they play the ball from the back. There you go. That's it. That's as far as I'm going. Yep. Okay. What's our defensive line? Defensive line is lower. Okay. This guy is not going to be that effective until the ball gets into the final third. Yeah. Now he's still checking out the scenery. Okay. He's not committing. The fullbacks are not committing. Now the ball is safely in the final third. Okay, they might get up the pitch. Okay, if let's say I want the fullbacks to be more effective, right? Okay, so I come inside here now. This is surgical planning. Okay, I drop this. I go higher. Okay, I drop it even more because it's higher defensive line. Okay. Now they are squeezing, right? Now they're going to squeeze. Okay, the 2 lines are going to come closer together. There's a danger now. The danger is going to be things like counter press because I got it on. Maybe so I'm paying attention to things like too many players reacting to the counter press. Am I leaving too many gaps when I lose the ball? Yeah. Okay, so we got 5 back. Canestrelli, Leone. Now we're switching into a 4-2-3-1. So far, so good. There, the fullback. You look at him. Now he's making these attacking runs through the middle, right? He's supporting the play a bit more aggressively. So this is what your defensive line will do. So you have to be you have to think about your defensive line as more than just an arbitrary line on the pitch that is set up for your players to go, to stand. Hey, I don't like this, man. Okay, we're gonna have to attack. No more experiments. Now we go and try and win the game. Okay. Defensive line higher, counter press. Okay, fine. Let's go. Lincoln, if Lincoln beat us, I'm gonna be damn angry. But of course, we are playing Pesquet, Endo, Dance, McAtee. We kept the first team rested. But we should be able to win this game. The downside of having a 5-4-1, right? Defensive shape is you are very defensive. That's the downside. So now we're going to go to key highlights. Boom. Kenneth Strelly. No wonder you never get picked. Pesquet. Give you a chance to play, you get injured. All the instructions. Plus, you're one man down. We're until halftime. We are 2-0 down, man. Yeah, versus Lincoln. Terrible, huh? Who look at my lineup in front? Dance, Pasquet, McAtee. What to do? Such is life. It's okay. But even they should be able to perform well. So if they're not performing well, something is wrong with them. Okay, let's go to tactics. I think we can change something here. And then we're gonna go higher up the pitch. This is high already, right? Counter. I don't like counter press. Yeah. And then Pesquet has to come off. Hey, Shaw, how are you, man? Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a bit. How are you doing? How have you been? See, I don't this defensive shape, I've never liked it, right? I've never liked having a different defensive shape from your attacking shape. It can work, just you always like scratching your head. I'm still scratching my head trying to figure things out. But I think that we should be able to win this game. I'm not saying you cannot work on Football Manager. There's got a lot of thinking to do. Go one. Just working loads and a few barbecue. Oh my god. You feel barbecues? I hope I read that well. You had a lot of work and a few barbecues. Sounds like a perfect combination, man. Bayless on the ball. Kendoye, come on, let's go. Counter, play the ball, lah, you stupid schmuck. Play the ball. He could have played the ball, no. He could have released it a bit earlier, he didn't. Okay. All right, we're going to bring Strun Larsen on. The problem is, right, whether these Dans can play in this position. I don't think he can. Problem is, when he create this kind of tactics, whether the players can play in the winger positions you want him to play in. We got Endoye here. Strun Larsen is not fast enough. Baske, Fujita, Chermiti. I think I can put McAtee here. Right, I can play McAtee here. Undo. Combine. McAtee here. This shot here. Okay. All right. Can I play a 4-2-3-1 out of possession? Yeah, you can. Definitely you can. Mid blocks are definitely very, very viable in Football Manager. Okay, now out of possession, I'm too low, right? Okay, see, their out of possession is like this. Okay. Our out of possession is very, very defensive. What I could do, I'll put this guy here, bring this guy here, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to do that. Too much work. Let's try and see whether they can win. My out of possession is too defensive. It's way too defensive. We have to change it. Okay, we're never going to get there. Okay, out of possession is way too defensive. Okay, look at that. Am I in possession? Am I out of possession? Not slightly different, right? Okay, Bischoff will come here. Ferguson will come here. Barrero will come here. And then my in possession is like that. Okay, so screening. Okay, so out of possession, we're going to be in this position. Okay. In possession, they'll be a bit deeper to help you build out. Okay, so this means I go counter press right away. Dance, Bishop, McAtee, Ferguson, Barrero. This out of possession. This is my the third defensive style. The third defensive style is actually more attacking than your in possession tactic. Right, so you can see it's very different now. So this guy is a central outlet attacking. If these two are screening, these guys will now become tracking wingers, and these two guys are pressing fullbacks. Okay, in possession, they're now fullbacks, and we will have a higher defensive line. Okay, and counter press, and we're going to try and get the result. It's almost like a 5-channel defense. Yeah. Oh no, we are going to lose. One last berate. Maybe we can change the outcome of the game with a berate. There's 4 minutes left as we look for the equalizer. Oh, what a ball, Stavo. Bischoff, come on, guys. Aye. Then Lincoln are defending well. No? I gave them a lot. I didn't bring my best players, but never mind. We should have been able to beat them with our team. No excuse. We play really badly this one. With 6 minutes left on the clock. And this is the last highlight. Nope, it's not. The players leave the pitch. Terrible result. I mean, he started playing better after the changes. Well, it was a terrible result. Terrible result. Which makes the second system. I don't like the second way of doing things. So the reason why I really stay away from these kind of shapes where the defensive out of possession shape is actually more defensive. I really stay away from them. Because they never ever end up so good. Yeah, for me. Okay, now, so the first one is we maintain the shape, right? The second one is, you can see, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try it again. Okay, I'm going to try it one more time. Yeah, we're not going to change the tactic too much. It should work, but it's very defensive. Okay, so we got to go back to the same tactic we made just now. It's this one. So in possession is this, out of possession is like this, right? So we're going to get this guy to press, and we're going to get this guy to press, and this guy's... So basically, the reason why they're pressing is because, I mean, honestly, there's nobody else. Okay, this guy will play as a stopper center back. Okay, so these guys are white center backs. He'll be the last man. This guy's gonna press. This guy's gonna press. These two guys are gonna press. So basically, it's a big gaping hole in the middle. Is this a good idea? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't normally play like this, but I want to try it out. Because I know there are three. This is the reason why our tactics, right? You notice, right? They've got like different shapes, right? Or one defensive shape. They always tell you, you can play this defensive shape and that defensive. You gotta find a defensive shape that is compatible. Okay, so this wasn't very compatible, but I'm still trying. There is a compatible one for the 4-2-3-1. So you got to think about the compatible setup, right? So the compatible setup would be something like this. I'll show you. Actually, I will create the compatible setup the way as I wanted it to be done. Or rather, I won't say the way they want it to be done. If you go to look at all the default tactics you have, right, when you go to the tactical creator, is the way they recommend, I guess is the better word for it. So we got these two here. Remember these two? And then we got this guy. So out of possession is like this. Let me see. There we go. So in possession is like this. Out of possession is like this. There we go. Okay. So this is the way that you'll see most of the tactics. You know, that's how they look. So we got this guy is still here. So that's it. This works. It will always work. It generally works out. Okay. So we get this guy to be an outlet center. These guys to be I guess these guys can be bulk basic. These guys will do some pressing. You know, they should be tracking because if not, they'll get in the way of these guys. So what they do is they close down the player, they cover the player. Yeah. So in such a case, right, they'll drop into their defensive positions first before defending. Yeah. So what you want to do is, I normally don't do this. So it's standard. Okay. So the problem with this kind of a shape is, the problem becomes when you play with like a defensive line that's too low, right? If your defensive line is very low, what's going to happen is you don't get midfield support. So you want to have a balance. So my recommendation is, whenever the gaps are very big, like if you are playing with this high press, in this one, this is quite normal. So you can drop it down by a notch. You can also play a mid block defensively, right? Because the tactic naturally falls into like a mid block when they're defending, right? So only when they attack. So what you can do is buy the team players a bit more time, so they get into a mid block now. Now, when they get into a mid block, you don't want them running all over the shop, right? So because the space is squeezed, you squeeze the space, right? So when you squeeze the space, you drop the pressing to a more neutral position, so that they don't all run into the same position. They don't like run into each other when they're pressing. Okay, all right, done. So we got our mid block done. Now is our attack. So now these guys go for our attack. Now what we can do with these guys is we got this all set up, right? Okay, so they are. Do you want these guys to be further forward when they have the ball? You can. This will set them up to be even further higher up the pitch. So you can come in here and go into this guy and set this up. So now what is you've done is you've given these two fullbacks a higher starting position. So now we're out of position. We lose the out of possession. We lose the ball. They come drop back here. In possession, they're here. That's it. Very simple. So this is the way that most people would go into the game the first time when they create a tactic. So your only worry should be, where are these players when you have the ball? When they don't have the ball, they drop in here. That's it. So they come into these positions. Now the issue is counter pressing. Now I'm going to leave counter pressing on at the start. Okay. And I'm going to take it off later so you can see the difference. There is going to be a noticeable difference when you play counter pressing on. All right, so now we've got Chamiti, we got Declare, Starboy, and Doye. I mean, we don't have a right winger now. I noticed, no. We don't have a right winger. Play McAtee. This team does not have a right winger anymore. We've got Jaden Danzer, but he's not a MR. And McAtee at least can play in this position, yeah. So I'm more concerned about players being able to play in these positions. Like, he's so. Yeah. You got to get players who are competent in these positions. If you don't, then you run the risk of screw up in your tactic. Danso is a defender. We'll play him. Danso is not able to play, so we're going to take him off now. Put Leone back in because the rating appeared. Watanabe is a decent player. Ferguson is decent. I mean, you just go with this team. Put this Ferguson. Okay, all right, let's go. Now we're going to the next game. What do you think? This with counter press. This tactic now is we're starting with counter press. I don't recommend it, but we want to see what screws up. Huh? Okay, so importante to try it with. I have to show you first why I don't play counter press. What do you think about playing 4-3-3 with one winger playing as a central attacking midfielder? One winger plays a central attacking midfielder and fullback to play as a winger to create a diamond. Why don't you just play roles that do that? And to play 4-4-2. Then you have to create the tactic. See, what I recommend is you create the okay, when out of possession, right? The first thing you want to do is, where do you want them to defend? That is your out of possession shape. That is where the defending is going to happen. How do you want them to look like when they're defending? Where? So I like to have two kinds of out of possession shapes. Right? One is I'm creating a tactic that's playing in the opponent's half. Then my out of possession shape literally is playing in the opponent's half. I got maybe 2 AMLs because I always like to put pressure on the fullback. So I got 2 AMLs and then I got one striker. Then I want to put pressure on the DM. I got another guy in the AM slot. So that's my out of possession shape, because it has got the pressure already applied in the tactic. So all I've got to worry about is where the rest of the play is going to be. So which makes the 3-4-3 diamond actually a very good counter-attacking OOP shape in Football Manager. Whether or not it's an OOP shape in real life is irrelevant to me, because I'm playing a game, right? So I'm playing an OOP shape that's great for the game, right? Yeah. So that's how you should be thinking. You should be looking at setting it up the way when your OOP shape, when you're thinking about OOP shape, think about where you're going to win the ball. That's it. Where you want to win the ball. And that's how you set up your OOP shape. In this one, we're playing a mid-block. So I want to win the ball in midfield, right? So my OOP shape is in midfield. Yeah. So if you are playing a high pressing system, good. I mean, I'm not saying that tactics with low, 5-4-1 don't work. They can work too. I'm just saying that there are so many ways to play this game. You shouldn't be defined by just one particular style. There is no punishment in this game for a bad tactic. No. Just bad punishment for bad players. That's it. You sign bad players, that's all. There's the meta in this game is players. That's it. How do I get more quick transitions? My players keep passing sideways. And play on, there's only two mentalities to play on, cautious or attacking. Then your tactic has to be the kind of setup that you can encourage that. This is the reason why the OP shape is very important. See, if your OP shape is more defensive than in possession shape, chances are your defensive transitions will be slow. But if your OP shape is more attacking, I got two tactics, right? This one will be slow, no. But this, if I use this tactic, I guarantee you my transitions are very, very fast. Because my out of possession, they're here. In possession, they're here. These guys are here and here when we have the ball. But when I lose the ball, these guys just drop into these positions. That's all. The only change is these guys drop here, this guy drop here. Because these guys drop here, this guy drop here. And then the wing backs just drop a bit deeper. These guys drop a bit deeper. And in these guys who were here just now, drop a bit deeper. That's it. So if your out of possession shape can be more attacking than in possession shape, then if you can set that up, you'll have a much more attacking setup. Your counter attacks will be net. The AI will just make you will just get more counter attacking options. Like your transitions are going to be crazy fast. Yeah. Let's see how this one is not going to be fast. This is going to be a bit more patient, proby, and yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad system. It's just that this is the way the cookie will crumble. You make this kind of tactic. I'm not saying it cannot be done. I'm not saying it's a bad tactical system. Just prepare for a grindy game. You'll have some nice goals because high possession. But yeah. So this is the second. This is the second variant, right? The first variant you see me stream so many times, right? You know that variant already. But we'll create another variant of the attacking system. But the best part about the third variant, where your counter-attacking system is strong, is more attacking, is the fact that the shape is always the same. The one for the quick transitions, right, is always going to be this shape. Because this is the wedge attack. The wedge defense. It falls into the wedge defense, and these guys are just going to launch and these guys are going to come in, right? So you're going to have this shape where these guys will naturally be in the perfect position to defend for you, because they will have a lot of pressure on opponent sides, and this gives you an option. Well, we'll create different versions. 2-3 build up and 4-4-2 OP. Yeah, 2-3 build outs, right? The problem with 2-3 build outs is the flanks are exposed. Yeah, that's the only downside with the 2-3 build out. I don't like 2-3 build outs. I like 3-2 build outs. Yeah. But 3-2 build outs with fullbacks instead of centre backs. Yeah, correct. In possession is very overrated. It's very overrated. You focus on OP, you're damn good. Your build out shape, that's it, and you're golden. A lot of people think that your IP is that important. No, it's not, no. Okay, the only important thing about in possession is where are your players going to be when you have the ball. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing you worry about. It's the only thing you have to worry. Yeah, but OP shape, right, is going to be where you win the ball when you lose it. No, that's the reason why I don't play these shapes. These shapes are not my favorite. They have never been. But they can work. I'm not saying they're not impossible. Because if I just don't rate them highly. Yeah. Because they're boring for me. I like more like in your face. One moment I'm defending, this moment I'm attacking. I want to get a heart attack when I'm playing. That's why I play this kind of my styles. This is like, you see, you're going to have this kind of football. Yeah, we're all over the place. Yeah, we are there. And beautiful, like carving them open. Then take your own sweet time. Don't score a goal. The moment I see that, I come inside this game. Okay, this is perfect, right? Mid block, out of possession, in possession, whatever. Okay, where's the ball in the box? But shoot some distance. Negatero. Whip, no, the one. Low cross. Ping, 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 ping. Done. Okay. What about 3-3 build up like Bielsa? Bielsa, have you noticed that Bielsa has been very successful? 3-3 build out is the worst build out. Why do you need 6 players in your rest defense? You only need 3 players at tops. Bielsa is not that phenomenal, no. He has got some ideas, but notice nobody took all his ideas. Most managers have never, they only take 1 or 2 ideas from Bielsa, the rest they throw away. Yeah. Hey, Intani, how are you? I tell you right now, the best rest defense is going to be the wedge. I guarantee you, world football, they're all heading in that direction. A lot of teams, right, are gravitating. In fact, there was a coach that famously said that the 3-man defense is coming back. What he meant was the wedge is coming back. A few coaches have alluded to the fact that this 3-man thing is coming back. Not 3 defenders, no. More like the wedge shape. Arne Slot accidentally came up with the system when Liverpool won the title. But I knew that it wasn't by design because he doesn't play like that. He plays with an orthodox tree when he was at PSV Eindhoven. Then with Liverpool, right, because of Trent Alexander-Arnold, he had to kind of use that shape, right, and inadvertently landed on the wedge defense. And for that reason, Liverpool were so dominant the whole season. They were very hard to break down. They whenever they attack, they win the ball back if they lose the ball. So they were brilliant. People were saying this is because of Jurgen Klopp. No, it wasn't because of Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp actually did, to some extent, do the wedge defense as well. When he had Trent Alexander-Arnold in his team, they had the tree at the back. So that was the start of what would be the very strong setup. But Arne Slot left it behind the following season, and it completely collapsed because Arne Slot started doing a two defenders, and then the fullbacks would start bombing up because he had the useless Frimpong, who is the most overrated fullback that Liverpool has ever signed in the history of their fullbacks. He's the worst fullback Liverpool will have. I guarantee you. And speaking of great fullbacks, right? Great managers making a comeback. Jose Mourinho is back, right? And first things first, Jose Mourinho already is given the instructions to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Your days are numbered. He does not like Trent Alexander-Arnold because he does not fit the mold of his all-out attacking fullback. No, yeah, he doesn't want him in his side. If he cannot be the all-attacking fullback, right, he's gone. The news Tottenham Hotspur with they are signing all the retired players, right? Tottenham Hotspur are signing all the retired players. I mean, I don't know how far it's true. I don't know how far it's true. They're signing a lot of Jabi Alonso. Maybe that's what they have. But Jabi Alonso, don't write him off yet now. Okay? Yeah, he's a good manager for Spurs. Yeah, the AI did sign the Calatele in my team. Yeah. What a coup, right? Yeah, he's not bad, but it just doesn't have the aggression. Come on. Emil Holm. This is the reason why I don't like this. The tactic ever. I did say at the start, remember, it's going to be boring. Okay, it is boring. I find these kind of systems quite boring because we'll have to, do this for 90 minutes. Then bang, get the ball back. And the reason why our counter press is okay, right? We still keep on winning the ball. Total dominance. Okay, let's go to key. Enough highlights. Next year, I think the AI tactics will be different. They will improve them a lot more. Because I think this season, a lot of the researchers were coming to grips with the system, right? Okay, so next season, I think a lot of the tactics, there will be some tweaking of the tactics. So you might see more innovative tactics from the AI. But I don't think it'll be that different now because SI tend to look at numbers as well. Yeah, they will look at the data from the game, right? There's not much. To smile at, right? They look at the data, see how closely it reflects the real numbers in the world. Hey, come on, Forrest, Burnley, come on, boys, let's do this. Stavo, again, trying to get forward. McAtee is playing well. Stavo, Chermiti is playing okay. Nice. McAtee again. Bischoff. Actually, I shouldn't play McAtee on the right now. If I'm not mistaken, McAtee cuts inside. Yeah, he's left-footed. He's going to come inside. He's going to run into this guy. Stavo is right only. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. I don't know. I think so. I think what we'll do is we're going to go both and take McAtee, put Stavo. Stavo he's in trouble. He cannot play on the right now. Sweet. Both. Oh, no, combine. Probably McAtee now cannot play here. Okay, undo again. Okay, we got no choice. Maybe we put him here. I know he can. He can play on the right. He can play on the right. I need width. I don't want an inside cutting player. Okay, you see the counter press? The problem with this kind of tactics, right? The defensive shape is not going to be there, no. Yeah. Their defensive shape, they will lose cohesion when you use counter press because they will all go up and then the gaps will appear. There's a reason why I never play counter pressed when the tactics are different. I hate it when I have counter. Let's say I download a face pack and I put it to use. I install one more face pack for new Yanja. Where do I extract the new pack? Wow. Where do you extract that new pack to? You have to create a file and all that, no? Because if you have a face pack, okay, you put it in, right? It's got its own file, right? It's got its own file name, XML file that identifies all the players and their codes, right? And which faces are linked to them. That's how it works. Now, you got all these new gen players coming out, right? Okay. When you download the face pack, you can create a subfolder within the face pack. So all the faces, right? You got another subfolder there, can be for new gens, okay? You create that one. But this face pack must have also an XML file that identifies the players that you want to replace. Yeah. That means all the numbers of the new gen players. Because new gen players also get their own I can't remember the word for it. They have their own code now. Like every player, right? There is a way for you to see like the numbers here. No, like some kind of numbers that they have. Like you have to identify it from preferences. I can't do it now because I'm in the middle of a game. I'll try and look for it later. But you need to download the file. You can have both, man. You can create a subfolder within the same face pack. Yeah, you can create like graphics. I have like graphics faces, and then you put NewGen face pack. You just call it NewGen face pack and put it there. You have to extract the same because it's gonna be very messy for you later if you put them all together in one. You have to create another folder within your face packs folder. Normally, that's what I do. So I like graphics, faces, right? Then I have like, this is my face pack folder for the real faces. All that go there because I downloaded it from one source. Then my new gens is going to be new gen then I call them my new gens, a new gens folder. That's it. But all within the faces folder in graphics can be done. You just have to be organized about it now. You see what I mean? By tactics that have the same shape, right? So when they have the same shape, when they have a more defensive shape, I hate those kind of tactics. I typically don't use them. We lost the game. Don't like it. I never did. But it can work. I'm not saying it's not, but you have to use we're going to play the next game. I'm going to maintain the same tactic. We're not going to change it until we win the game. Okay. That's my attitude in life. I don't give up. Okay, so we're going to next game. But this time around, we're going to go to this tactic. We're going to make sure that we remove the nuisance instruction on this one. That's it. We'll be fine now. So mid-block still working. Everything is still working. Boom. We leave it. Stavo, McAtee. The only problem is McAtee. McAtee is not a right winger. So we're going to play Dance here. Dance is not a right. Problem Dance cannot play in this position either, which is a real pain in the ass. It would be good if I could find a right winger to try all these experiments with. But, all right, I can only do so much with the players, my board signs. Quachon. Okay. All right. Hope I answered your question. But generally, you can have graphics, faces, stadiums, all. I got stadiums, I got faces, you got logos, you got balls even. Yeah, you can even put, like last time I remember have a balls folder as well with the graphics, right? All my balls were there. So I had like different color balls or different more. I felt like today I feel like an orange ball, a pink ball, a blue ball. You can do that as well. Yeah. Yeah, new gen and Facebook. Correct. Graphics folder, the graphics got a lot of subfolders, right? You can put, you work graphics, if you download Stadium Pack, you put stadiums, right? Faces also. Faces, one folder, right? And then within faces, you'll have your whatever faces you got. Yeah. You don't know many. Martian Ant, how are you, man? How are you doing? Hope you are well. So, coming back to my discussion about Diablo. Nobody plays Diablo here. Really? Nobody can help me play Diablo. Come on, there must be some. All of you are old farts like me playing Football Manager 27. I'm hungry I'm hungry, man, right now. I'm fucking hungry, you know. I am so damn hungry right now. You would not believe it. I could eat a horse. I didn't really have dinner today. Or I did, but the dinner wasn't scrumptious. I could make something at the middle of the night, 11:20 p.m. Sounds like a smart thing to do. Calimuendo? I didn't even know I had still had Calimuendo. I really had What the? Who the? Hey, come on, we gotta come back here. Pat, where says Calimuendo wants to stay? Wait. Where is Calimuendo? Hey, how do you search? Calimuendo. I remember this guy was playing for us, what? Oh, now he was playing for us on the way to France. What happened to you, man? Calimuendo? He was our hero. Scored so many goals for us. Now Calimuendo, he scored a lot of goals for us. No? Then the boss sold him. Yeah, look at that, right? Hey, was it the same? Career size Masi, must be a different game. Or is it, this is from last year, is it? I had a Calimuendo. No, I remember I had Calimuendo in my team, but I just can't remember which team it is. I played so many damn saves. Oh yeah, my skin. You just have to type skin in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, that's the link. I didn't know somebody was asking about the skin. Just type skin. That'll tell you. Gives you a link. MMB skin by UNCUS. Except I use this. I use this. You won't get the same color. If you use the UNCUS skin, it'll be like this. It'll be green. Mine is a bit more darker. Tint. Yeah. God, I want the green tinges. Yeah. I like to have the green tinge, but green on green is not that nice. Yeah. Green on black is beautiful. Yeah. I like green on black. Oh, that's classy. Yeah, in my opinion. It's very classy. Then you got this green on black. I love it. I love this combination. If I had a car, right, it would be like this green, this green and that black. Seriously, if I had a car, it would be green and this black. Oh man, especially if it's a sports car. Oh my god. Okay. I show you the car. Yeah. If I had this car, I'm sorry, you guys are probably gonna laugh at me, you know. Car, my favorite car of all time is this car. Jaguar XJ6. This is my favorite car of all time. If I can get my hands on this car, I will get it. No. The Jaguar XJ6. My all-time favorite car. I love this car. It's the original Jaguar XJ6. Okay, it's a 1975 model. No? They have the new one as well. The new Jaguar. After that, they had the different versions of the Jaguar XJ6. It'll look like this. And then it look like this. Yeah. This is a classic car. No? But now I think if you go Jaguar, it's like this. Yeah. This is the XJ series. But this in green and black. Oh my god. British Racing Green. Yeah. My favorite color. It's my favorite color. No? Yeah. That's my favorite car and color. Yeah, nobody is going to let me drive that car. No, I can handle the V8, definitely. I had no problems. The only problem is whether the mechanics here can look after the car. The problem with these kind of cars are not you, no. The driver is important. The driver has to know how to handle the car, right? But the most important thing is going to be whether or not you have the people that can look after the engine for you. Yeah. If you cannot look after the engine yourself, then you shouldn't buy those kind of cars. You gotta really look after that car yourself. It's got a very nice guttural sound in the engine as well. So playing positive, which means that I'm gonna get I'd rather play attacking at home. So my mentality has always been attacking to ensure that I get the transitions up the pitch. But these kind of tactics, the transitions are gonna be like ting tock, quick attack and all that. But I'll get crosses in, definitely. But if I wanted like my tactics that I normally make, right, then I have to play the more offensive out of possession shape. Oh, it's offside. But Beraldo was offside. Really? I know the header was definitely onside. Yeah, onside. The header was onside. How can he be offside? Because I say Beraldo. Beraldo was not offside. Yeah, home was onside, right? So Beraldo was onside. Beautiful start. And we're off to a brilliant start. So this, you can make, but you cannot play with counter press. Yeah. When the shape is not the same, right? Please don't play counter press. That's it. First rule of thumb. I will never recommend counter pressing. Counter press, I only recommend if your out of possession shape is as attacking or more attacking than in possession shape. But I love to create really funky out of possession shapes. There we go. Star Wars off. In possession, right? Waiting. Okay. That's it. Because why? We're playing a mid block. Leone now with the ball. We got width. There we go. That's why I wanted to play Dance on the right, because we get width. Instead of playing an inside cutting winger who's playing left foot on the right flank. Yeah. So we got a right foot on the right flank. That way the guys on the inside can make their runs inside. Uh-oh. Oh, they got the equalizer. So what are your favorite cars? I mean, for those guys who have cars, what are your favorite cars you want to drive? For me, it's the Jaguar XJ6. Unfortunately, I'm 20 years. It's been my favorite car since I was 18 years old. Since I was 18, no. Some guys got the Beaters. Mine was always the Jaguar XJ6. I looked at the car and went, such a beautiful car. I saw my uncle drove the car. He had a car like that. I sat in the car. And the moment I sat in the car, I fell in love with it. So I told myself I wanted to get the car, but I never could. First, I couldn't afford it. Definitely not. Then when I could afford it, I wasn't allowed to buy it. Yeah. Because, it became like, now I'm like, if I bring it in, it's more like I don't have anybody to help me look after the car. And that's it. So favorite car I can never have. So if I go on holidays now, I probably try and rent. If I have to rent a car, I probably request XJ6. Oh, we got the equalizer. Beautiful second goal. I got faith in them. So far, so good, right? So defensively, not doing too bad. We conceded one silly goal, but we managed to get it back. To see a mid block, right? Sometimes you end up with our tactic, right? You notice a lot of passing going on in the tactic. There's no like quick transitions, right? You think that you get them in the mid block. Yeah. If your attacking shape is your OP shape is more attacking than your in possession shape, then you have a lot of very fast transition goals. Yeah. So if you want a lot of fast transitions, your OP shape must be more attacking than your IP shape for mid block. We'll do that because that's what we have in the 3-4-3 right now. Get in. Because now also we're playing ball into box, so they're going to take their time. Get in. Stavo! 3-1. Third goal. Pandemonium. As an American, I rate seeing Pulisic at Palace. Pulisic. I don't know. Pulisic, I want him to play. I need to see him. He's not going to come cheap. But I think Pulisic should come back to the Premier League. You drive a Mustang. Oh my God, the Mustang. Oh, the Ferrari 458 Italia. Ferrari is a great car. But the Mustang is also a damn cool car. No? I remember the Toyota Celica when it came out, right? Was actually a Mustang, like kind of when the first version of the Toyota Celica came out, right? It was almost like a Japanese attempt at creating the same guttural car like the Mustang. Yeah. But of course, It doesn't sound anything close to it, but I mean, the Celica was the first edition, was quite fun in Asia to drive. I've got a lot of friends, right, who have still got the first edition Celica. If I could afford it, I'd go for a Porsche 911 with manual transmission. Ooh, a lot of maintenance. It's funny how many people here in the States thought Pulisic and company were going to beat Belgium. I tried to warn them. No, they were not going to beat Belgium. I think Belgium was a tough team. I mean, the Americans went as far as they could go, honestly. And it did help that he had Trump making things messier for them with Florian Balogun's them overturning the card, which actually until that point, everybody was rooting for. I mean, a lot of people were rooting for the US, even the neutrals. After that, the neutrals stopped rooting. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for all the neutrals. I can speak for myself as a neutral. I stopped rooting for the US completely. I was like, I hope the US get kicked. I hope the Belgians kick their ass, and it didn't do them any favors because I think the Belgians went into that game fired up. The thing is, the Belgian team, right? If they hadn't been fired up, if there was no Balogun thing, I don't think the Belgians. There might have been a chance the Americans could have taken the result. Yeah, I think they were undone by their own president. Yeah, exactly. I think the Balogun thing didn't do the Americans any favor. I mean, yeah, Florian Balogun is a good striker, but it's not like he's the only striker that the Americans have. Yeah. I think the situation just put too much attention on the Americans, and it fired up the Belgians to perform because now the Belgians feel like, oh, now you got to cheat to beat us, right? You see what we do. See, that is always a bad thing. So our second system, now you can see it work defensively is much better now. So we took out counter pressing, right? The moment you take out counter pressing, whenever the problem with this game is this, right? If you're in possessionship and you're out of possessionship are very different, don't play counter pressing. Except if your out of possession shape is more attacking than in possession shape, then have counter pressing on. So that's the only difference. Okay, so now next tactic is going to be a wild ride into 4-4-2. I don't know if you have the players for it, but we'll try. I'm going to make out of possession shape will be a 4-4-2, but in possession shape will be something different. Okay, so we won that game quite comfortably. Crystal Palace. So we created 3. We have created 2 already. We have 3. Okay, so the third original one is this. This one. This is the one. So this is the third one. We'll use this. I don't want to create one again, but let's create one more for the fun of it. Okay. All right. So we created this one. So this in possession. This is the textbook way of playing. Okay. You cannot go wrong with this if you follow the rule that you're in. You cannot have counter pressing on. That's it. Okay. You will not go wrong. The moment you put counter pressing into this tactic, you are asking for trouble. Okay. And if you play like this, chances are you should play on a mid block. That's all. Okay, because you are trying to win the ball in midfield. So it's mid block. Yeah. So it's simple as. Okay. So don't go there playing a high block. Okay. So makes sense, right? Okay. Now we're gonna make a tactic that is a bit more funkier. Okay. Out of possession. Out of possession, we're gonna be like this. Okay, we're gonna be like this. It's crazy. I don't think I should do this. It's just too insane. In possession, it's gonna be like this. In possession, I'm gonna be like this. Out of possession, I'm gonna be like this. All right. So in possession, we'll go up the pitch, happy. Then we will play this guy as a. We'll play false fullback. No, we want to play one inside fullback. One more inside fullback. This guy's gonna come up the pitch. This guy's gonna attack. This guy's gonna come up. This guy is gonna be a false 9. And this guy is gonna be a center forward. Okay, so this guy's gonna draw into this hole. This guy's gonna come up. This guy's gonna attack this way. This guy's gonna come out this way. This guy's gonna come out this way. This guy's gonna be a inside fullback. Gonna cut this way. This guy's gonna form a 3-man wedge. And then out of possession, boom. They try to win the ball here. This is gonna be crazy. Okay. So now we are gonna have a lower defensive line. High press, maximum press. Defense is trying to counter press. Okay, so lower defensive. I don't want the fullbacks to be too high up the pitch. Yeah, in this one. So BCB, BC. No. 1. We don't need two of them. We were center back or ball playing center back. The advanced center back. Okay. All right. So he's gonna push up. This guy's gonna push up. They're gonna be a three-man defense. Then when we lose the ball, you're gonna wedge in this. We're gonna try and move the ball like this, and then out of possession, we're gonna try and do this. Okay, will it work? I have no clue. Okay, because it's not as attacking as I want it to be. The more attack, the one I have that works is a 3-4-3. This problem is it gives me 2 banks of 4. That's it. But let's see whether it works or not. It's a different matter. We'll find out soon enough. The third way of doing it. USA versus Euro is just a nightmare. They can't compete at a technical level against those sides. No, I think they can. I think the US team can compete on a technical level with European teams already. I think they have the players. They just don't have the... they are there already. I think in the US right now, they just have to have a better... Because I don't think the US national team is well represented. They are not well represented. Because there are so many good American players in America that cannot play for the US team at the moment. So I think the grassroots has to change. The way football reaches out to kids from poor districts also should get a chance to play football for the American team. There should be like... Right now, football is like a membership for the rich in America. Like... If you're not in a program, paying money into a football program, you're not going to get into a football school or you're not going to get a football scholarship. That's nonsense, man. Nobody does that except the Americans. I think the USA, they have the players, but the entire grassroots system has to change. Yeah, they have to change it because right now it sucks. It sucks. It does not help the grassroots. I bet you there are so many talented players in America right now. We're gonna take the Cutlet out, make a T. So let's see if this works. This is the most outstandingly insane setup I've got. Tracking winger. These two should be screenings. We don't want them to move out. So they're gonna screen the center. These two are gonna do the work. Actually, what I would prefer is a strikeless system, but we're not gonna do that. Okay, we're not going to do a strikeless. You need more perseverance. I think there are a lot of talented players in America. Okay, let's see if this works. I don't know if it's going to work. 4-4-2, I never dared to try. I know 3-4-3 because they got the wedge defense naturally. Yeah. Oh, Nico Williams. Oh my God. Nico Williams chopped Gittins. It must be personal because Nico Williams was carrying an injury, right? Before he came in. So it must have been Gittins who did it. Must have been Gittins. Nico Williams also injured. Both of them are injured. Both of them, no. The drama in this game, needless to say, quite high. Yeah, the Americans have a long way to go. I think if the Americans opened up football and it was more democratic, I hate saying this, but it's not. No, in America, football is not democratic enough. Okay, it's too much of a rich man's sport. Yeah, you have to have the money to be in a football program in the US before you even get a chance to be player in a football team. So I think the Americans, it's not a sport for the average player. Italy also, yeah, grassroots talent is dead. Now because they're all following the American model now. Yeah, all following. Everyone wants to turn football into like a passion project. Even in Singapore right now, okay, or you want to join football, like you go to they're all turning it into these things where you have to join a school, no football school, right? And then you have to pay for football classes, football this, football that. I remember a time when all you needed was a pair of boots, a ball, and you go and they spot you and they bring you to a program. You don't have to, your parents don't have to pay any money. They say, okay, we want your child to be a part of the football program, and you get sponsored. So the parents don't have to worry, Like, I gotta pay for shoes. No, they will come to you and say, no, don't worry. This is for your child after school. And we will cover the expenses for their boots and their kit. Now it's a different thing altogether. I don't get it. I don't know when did it become so commercial? I don't understand. I do not understand. When did it become this? Because one of the reasons is because, right, in Asia, right, a lot of these players, when they are at the top of their game and they leave, they got nothing else to bank on. Because we're not talking about the Son Heung-mins. We're talking about the Tan Akaos in South Singapore, for example. They represent the national team. What have they got? Their future. Some of them end up selling sports goods. That's their future. So the most successful of them, they start football academies. So they start I know Fandi Ahmad did, right? He had a football academy. So they start a football academy. Then you want your children to be learning football, you send them to this football. Then they tie up with the football associations, which is a dirty dog eat dog world. It's terrible. Yeah, exactly. You play baseball for fun, not soccer. Nobody wants to play baseball. You just you got a bat, you got a ball, you go and play. That's why it's so popular. But the thing is, football last time, we had to buy shoes. So, we play with... Football is not a cheap sport. It is not. The boots are damn expensive. They are damn expensive, man. And then the kids will say, I want to buy Macy's boots. So, Adidas Predator. Oh my God, you save up your money. You work throwing rubbish every day for your neighbor. Then you get like $50. That's it. I've got myself a pair of boots. But now it's ridiculously expensive. I mean, my kids want to take part in sports, right? I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to afford all this shit, man? Yeah, baseball, I agree. I play hockey, used to play travel hockey. Talk about expensive. Oh, I play hockey. What? Are you ice hockey or field hockey? I play field hockey. I play field hockey. Okay, I was a field hockey player from primary school days, from the youngest, from the age of 7 years old. I was already playing hockey. Yeah, and I won my first. That was the first sport I won a trophy in. I played, and then we got into the nationals. My school, we finished silver medal. We got a silver medal. All the schools in Singapore in primary school, right? We finished number 2. I still remember this. Until the day I died. For the finals, we had to take a boat because it was a home and away leg. No, I remember we had a home and away leg to decide the finals. So it was an epic competition. I still remember. There's a lot of traveling over in Singapore. Yeah. You play ice. I play field, man. I tell you something. The field with the ball, hard as rock. I tell you, I'm sure ice hockey is the same thing, right? But ice hockey got protection. We don't have protection. So I remember, right? The first thing I learned playing field hockey was never come in on a player's right side. So if you're a right-hander, you never come in on his right. Because if you come in on his right, the guy lifts the hockey stick, right? The hockey stick smashes into your face. And guess who did that? My brother. So my brother, because my brother, growing up, right, my brother would always, you being the elder brother, younger brothers always tend to follow the elder brother, right? So they try to get like, oh, he's got a gold medal, so I also want to play the sport. So he decided to, I warned him, right? Every time I was playing hockey, I said, dude, you're coming on the right, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, you don't come in on the right, you're going to get whacked in the face. He got whacked in the face by a player one day. Boom, pow in the face, blood everywhere. That is hockey. Hockey is a game. The ball comes at the ball is as heavy as a baseball. Right? It's as heavy as a baseball and it's as hard as a baseball, right? Okay. Once it hit my knees. You know the soft part between the kneecap and the bottom of the knee, right? That tendon, it hit that part. I was so lucky because it could have shattered my kneecap, man. That's why I love hockey. Hey, we're 2-0 up. My more attacking setup, right? My 4-4-2. You gotta love it, man. Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. This is insane. Gotta review. So I'm telling you, the best form, right, of these kind of tactics, right, is you have like an OP shape that's even more attacking than in possession. This is my in possession shape, right? This is my out of possession shape. Can you tell me what tactic I'm playing? I'm playing a 4-4-2, but I'm pressing in the opponent's half. Okay, so I don't know if we play high press. Defensive line is lower, right? So I maximum press and I can play counter pressing. Because the gaps are wider. So the responsibility to win the ball in the opponent's third is going to be the responsibility of the 4 players in front. Yeah. And then you choose the roles accordingly. So I've got screening central midfielders, right? So I don't want my central midfielders to go running all over the place. So they're screening. So they basically act like a loose little wall in midfield. That's about as much as I can ask them to do. I can't ask them to run. If they run, they break my shape. That's it. You grew up playing ice hockey, Dodger, and I played. Wow, you played a bit in college. Oh, I respect. I love. Do you know that I have a favorite ice hockey team? Growing up, right? Yeah, I'm hockey. So growing up, because I play field hockey, so I was always fascinated by the different kinds of hockey, right? So I learned about ice hockey as well. So in Singapore, we actually had an ice hockey league at one point. They set it up, so we had to learn how to skate, try all that stuff. But again, I couldn't afford it because I don't come from a rich family. I'm not a rich person by nature, right? So I don't swim in money. So I didn't have the money to buy the gear, but I followed the sport. And you know who's my favorite ice hockey team? New York Rangers. Yeah, because of Marc Messier. I remember because I ended up working for ESPN. And the very first thing I got when I went to Connecticut was a ticket to watch the New York Rangers play in Madison Square Garden. First time. Yeah, that is the day so they ended up becoming my favorite team because they were the first team I watched live. And I fell in love because that was the year when Messier I think it was Messier's last season. Yeah. I hope we can defend this, because we're defending quite well. Yeah, we're defending. So the Banks of 4 are doing very well. No, not Rangers. Yeah, Detroit. You grew up in Detroit, so I grew up watching all the heroes play for the Red Wings. All right. Okay, I'll tell you something. This is very funny. Okay, my favorite, I have a different team for everywhere. Okay, so I'm not American, right? My brother is as good as an American. He lives in New York, right? So my brother is in New York. The whole family is in New York. But my favorite basketball team, and this is going to surprise. Who do you think is my favorite basketball team? It's not from New York, right? So I don't support the Knicks. Yeah, the Bulls. Nope. My favorite basketball team is definitely not the Bulls. It is Detroit Pistons. My favorite basketball team are the Detroit Pistons. Why? Because I grew up following the Detroit Pistons. And they're early 80s, 70s, and then they were the 80s, and then we were the Chicago Bulls, right? And after that, we had Michael Jordan, right? So I was like still a Pistons fan. I have to respect the Bulls. The Bulls played some fantastic basketball, but it was the Pistons. And last year was the best year for the Pistons, man. I was like, oh my God, we had the best season I've seen in the last, 15 years. What a preseason, man. We had a fantastic time. But then again, man, it was a great. But this coming season, they will be good. Yeah, I have faith in the Pistons. Yeah, Messier went west. His career floundered. He should have stayed. Messier was the hero for the Rangers. Okay, then we go screen. Right? So the only problem is if you don't win the ball, right, in the initial press, we're in trouble. Then we get back to defend, right? So you see the initial press, we don't win it, we suck. And I noticed one thing, right? If you notice in this tactic, what has happened is towards the latter half, we get tired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to cautious. Yeah, mentality. It's a direct. It's that means two things are going to happen. My passing is not going to be short. It's going to be a bit longer. Look, we lose the ball. We lost the ball. We can't get the ball up the pitch. Yeah. We can't get the ball up the pitch. So we're gonna get this. We see one of the reasons is because the defensive line is lower. Okay, so I'm gonna jack the defensive line, get the fullbacks to support play. I want to drop this now. Okay, so I'm gonna get trigger press is gonna drop to standard now. Tempo is gonna be much higher. And then my instructions is going to be pass into space. Where are you? Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Pass into space. Okay. We're going to push for the... Yep. Pistons were a good team. My opponents keep getting 1v1s with my fullbacks. And I keep getting burned with cutbacks and crosses. Get your wingers to track back. Because if your fullbacks are getting into these positions where they're always one-on-one, get somebody else to drop back, like a tracking winger in your tactic. If you're playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, yeah, you have to play a tracking winger, so they put pressure. They put pressure on they help you defend. As in they come back. See, defensively okay, right? Damn it, if I can just win the ball, that's it. We did the pressure part right. See, the pressure part was correct. When we lost the ball, they immediately got on the player. That's what I want them to do. So that much is okay. Still putting pressure. Okay, good. We are still doing it. Nottingham Forest. I like this. This is my favorite setup. There's a lot of drama in this kind of setup because the transitions are fast. They'll come thick and fast. Tracking wingers are damn good. Yeah, 4-4-2 OP shape. They're very, very good. Because you got fullbacks who will do the job, right? But the problem is if you play pressing fullbacks, right, you gotta be a bit careful. Yeah. I like to play pressing fullbacks in combination with tracking wingers. The only reason why I'm not doing it now is because I'm worried that they might open up. Yeah. I'll pay attention. But now this guy, Nate Brown, I don't have a left back. I don't. Ferguson for Bischoff and Barreiro. Barreiro is a beast. I know he will do a good job. Yeah. And then Bischoff is I'll play Ferguson now. The reason why I changed him is because Bischoff's jumping reach is only 7. Actually, as a central screen midfielder in a 4-4-2, I really want both central midfielders to jump or win the ball. There, Ndoye again. There, we won the ball back. The counter press worked. Yeah. They got back to it. Ndoye, please don't lose the ball again. Please don't lose the ball again. You're losing the ball far too many times. You're not exactly the best option, but what choice do I have? Ferguson, Ndoye, crossing the ball. Oh, Chamiti. Okay, Stavo can't play here either. I don't have players who can play these positions, and I insist on playing this tactic. Never mind, it's okay. Does it matter if the tracking wheel tracks or AM position or midfield? Yes, it does. It does matter. If you track from this position, they can put fullback pressure straight away. If they track from the midfield position, they allow the fullbacks to get to the ball. So you see what is happening now? So here I'm playing tracking winger. So they're already in tracking positions. If you play as an ML, they may not be in that position. So sometimes you gotta be careful. Now he's got a chaser. You can play them as MLs, then they'll go to a deeper position. I think it depends on what you want to do. Like, for example, if you want to win the ball very high up the pitch, then it might be a good idea. But if you want more defensive cohesion, then the ML position is better. If you're willing to take the risk, the AML position is riskier, but you can win the ball really high up the pitch and force a transition earlier. Whereas in the case of the ML position, you are not going to win the ball very high up the pitch, but you will be more cohesive defensively. So both can work. Yeah. Just depends on what your goal is. Oh yeah, we got a F9 kind of setup in our 4-4-2. We got our striker, right? We got this guy dropping in like an F9. He's the F9. But Strand Lucerne is not really much of an F9, passing vision. Okay, maybe he can. So he's playing as an F9 to drop here. Then Chamiti is going to go forward. Yeah, okay. So there's a bit of a... But it would be better if I had a target forward poacher combination, I guess. Well, we can try that. Try that as well. Why not? Okay, target forward, center forward. Okay, let's go. Would you run screening defensive midfielder at that point if you press I or keep the screening central? I'll probably in this 4-4-2. In a 4-4-2, I probably wouldn't play with screening. Okay, if I had a 4-4-2 and I play a DM, the DM is for... If I play DMs, I won't use them as screeners. Yeah. If I have two DMs, right, then they'll be DMs. They won't be screening because there's no point. Because there are three already. There are two DMs in that position. They don't need to screen. They better do some defensive work. They're already damn deep. It's a bit late in the game to screen. Because they might step out. I don't need them. I need them to be a bit more aggressive. Yeah. So they decided they're screen. They're just making sure that the passes in the center don't get... It's not easy for them to get into the middle. There we go. It worked. Oh man, the release was... They tried to release the pass. But there we go. Let's see. There he's screening nicely. That's why his job is just this. Make sure that you can't pass the ball to these two players. That's it. That's his job. That's a screening midfielder's role. The screening midfielder is just there to make sure you cannot pass to somebody. He just screens the channel that's where the pass is going to be made. Nice. A bit more direct now, the football. Oh, come on. Ferguson. Oh, man, he couldn't win the ball. They get back into position. The fullback doesn't commit. That's a good thing. The fullback does not. That's why I didn't play a pressing fullback. I didn't want him to commit. So it's our defensive line isn't very, what is it? There we go. Oh, shucks. I love the transition. The transition was very fast. This game is going to be like that. If you make a tactic like this, right, where they're out of possession is more attacking than in possession, you're going to have a lot of this back and forth. You better be prepared for it, man. See it out loud, you man. Low time was saying, is channel forward DLF my best combination? Only wingers are not containing forward. Long time no see. Is channel forward DLF my best channel forward DLF? Channel forward is a very good combination. Both running channels, but then you need the wide players to be attacking the box. Only wingers are not containing forward. What do I mean by not containing the forward? If you want to play wingers, then have inside. You can have like inside cutting wingers. Play wingers who can score goals, right? But start from wider positions. Nice, because then you got a lot of movement. You'll pull teams apart. Better to have like channel forward, like your DLF combination. Then you have wingers who can score goals, right? They'll come in from wider positions unmarked. Because your boys are all over the place. But of course, the downside is, there's a lot of movement in your tactic. That's it. Like if I could do it now, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I go here, channel forward, and then this guy becomes DLF support, right? So these two guys better be able to score. Because they're going to have a lot of space. These guys are running all over the place. You can't make that work as well. So we got Ndoye, Chamiti. Now see what happens is he's going to go wide. He's going to go wide. Now you got a lot of other options. So if you have players who can, other goal scorers, yeah, definitely is a very viable option. It's a very good option for a lot of movement. You can create some very good goal scoring tactics. Yeah. Don't need more static rows in front. You have more lateral moving rows. You do okay if you have forwards on the wings, right? Then the two guys in the middle, ideally channel forward and DLF on support, channel forward, maybe even F9 possible. Then you're gonna have your forwards on the wing scoring lots of goals. But they will play from wider positions, right? You don't want them to play as wide forwards. You want them to play as from wider positions. Like then they will come in unmarked. Yeah. They both can work. Say it out loudly. You can also use static rows. Both can work. Yeah. The good thing about this game is that you have a lot of options. No, one thing I won't criticize about this game is the match engine. Yeah, the match engine. I'm not saying the match engine is perfect. Of course, it has got bugs, but when it comes to making a tactic like work the way I want it to work, 100% possible. The only problem with this thing is the feedback, tactical feedback I'm getting is terrible because I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, my ego is very big for this game. Okay, I've got a very big ego when I play this game. I want to know that there's nobody else as good as me. And everybody who plays the game wants to feel that way, right? The only way, but there's nothing in the game that tells you that, except for you winning titles. But I want to know that nobody else can do this. I want to be able to say I made a tactic which has got like the average XG of every chance is 0.83, higher than a penalty. But I can't because the game doesn't tell me that information. So it's very annoying. So my ego is not being fed by this game. I want your ego to be fed. Boom! We beat Newcastle with a 4-2-4, 4-4-2, 4-OOP shape. So it's very possible to do this. And we were messing with our tactic after that. Nobody gave us a chance, Nottingham Forest. Yeah, we were expected to lose against Newcastle, and we came and beat them. So there are three broad ways you can set up defensive tactics in this game of Football Manager. Three different ways, right? You can choose a tactic, play the same formation, right? In and out of possession, same formation, 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1. Nobody's gonna, enjoy yourself. Counter press to your heart's delight. Second choice, your in possession shape is more attacking than your out of possession shape. Oops, players are dropping back a bit more. Take out counter press. Do you understand it? Won't go wrong again. Boom, be happy. Will your transitions be lightning fast? Not always, because your out of possession is actually quite deep. So you're prioritizing defending first. Then you got the final one where your out of possession shape is more attacking than in possession shape. Also possible. And this one, your transitions are lightning fast. But the downside is your players are going to get more tired, but you definitely have, and you can play high up the pitch. You can play like high blocks, high pressure tactics. And you can definitely use the defensive line. You can drop the defensive line all the way to the bottom, and then you can play a high block, and then you can press maximum pressing, and then you can find that you can have more insurance policy because you're going to have a higher insurance policy when you drop your defensive line and you maxing out your trigger press, because then you're basically telling the players, hey, when it comes to defending, you're on your own, man. We're not going to commit too many players to defending the same zone together. Okay, so those are the three ways to do it. I love it. Oh, yeah, if you have forwards on wings, I choose DLF. Yeah, but you have one role, right? See, a target forward is not a static role. He drops deep. A DLF also is not a static role. It drops deep. Right? Both those roles are not static, no. They move. Yeah. So when you talk about static roles, I thought it meant different. Those two are not static roles. They have never been static roles. DLFs are all, they will drop. Poacher is a static role. If you say poacher, then I say, yeah, that might not be a good idea. Poacher and second striker is also not a bad combination. Yeah, I like that. Liverpool 1, Brentford 0. Hey, Liverpool can top of the table now. Okay, Spurs. Hey, Spurs have been winning. Arsenal beat Burnley. Crystal Palace, Chelsea beat Crystal Palace. Everton 3, Sunderland 2. Fulham 0, Wolves 0. Hull 2, Aston Villa 2. Manchester United beat Leicester City. Manchester City, Bournemouth. Newcastle lost to Nottingham Forest. Hey, we are arriving. Brighton. Oh my God, Spurs beat Brighton. Brighton are dropping like a rock now. They're in trouble. They are in trouble. But Nottingham Forest's last few games have been quite brilliant. Liverpool are having a good season. Liverpool having a good season. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I like this. But I'm getting hungrier. But that's it. That's the three ways in which you can make tactics. So we have all the tactics, right? I showed it to you. So this the one where the out of possession is more attacking than the in possession tactic, right? I don't know this one. Oh, this sorry, we didn't. I didn't save the tactics. So the first one, we only ended up with the last one. The rest of the way I didn't keep that. I don't. Yeah, because for me, I'm already comfortable with tactics, right? So if you want to make so the only thing to remember is this: you can play all three ways. All three ways. The only constant thing that you worry about in all three of them is this. Okay. When you play a shape that is more defensive than your in possession shape, play mid block. That's it. Okay. You're playing a mid block. When you are playing the shape, your in possession OP shape are the same, you can play high block and mid block. When you are playing a shape that is got a higher OOP shape than the in possession shape, or you are built for counter pressing, you're built for the high block. There's any difference. So the constant is going to be counter pressing. Is Brighton is also human control? Got Spurs team. Also got Spurs team. So by next one we got Champions League. Yeah. So far so good. We did quite okay. So we won a few games. We lost to Lincoln. We lost to Burnley. But we won the rest. We beat Brentford. We lost to Lincoln. We lost to Burnley like stupid Robert, and then we beat Crystal Palace and beat Newcastle. And we used all the different ways of setting up the defensive tactic, right? But ultimately, you got to depend on your own team. What can they play? Don't go out there and create tactics and my team can play this. I'm going to try playing this for a while. The 4-4-2. Because I do like the 4-4-2. This is the crazy mazy. This is different tactic. Oh yeah, in possession, out of possession. I tried this. This is different shape from this, right? This is a low block. This is my low block tactic. Yeah, I go into a low block with this tactic. This is my mid block tactic. This is my mid block tactic. But this can play as a mid block or a high block. Are those teams in Europe? Are the only teams right now in Europe are in the competition right now in Europe? There's only a few teams. Right now, Brighton is only taking part in the Europa League, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. So, Brighton are in the Europa League, Premier League, Europa League, and Premier League. I'm in the Conference League. So, all of us are in Europe. Spurs are in Europe. Liverpool are in Europe. Brighton in Europe. All of us are in Europe. Yeah. So are doing reasonably well, Portal, if I'm looking at the European competition again. Coming here again. I'm not I don't know, I can go stats here. I didn't even bother looking at this. Brighton, there we go. Brighton, Europa. How are they doing the Europa League? Are they still in the Europa League? Yeah, Brighton's still in the Europa League. They have to play Newcastle. In the round of 16. They're still there. Brighton will play Newcastle. Big match for them. And then in the Champions League, because we can't apparently find competitions by real names here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Wait. Just want to hear about this game. Everything is so I really hate this game sometimes. There's a way to find out now. Where's the club site? There we go. I gotta go around the camel's ass to find something. Then Champions League. Okay, Champions League. Okay, how are we doing in the Champions League? Liverpool, Villarreal in the Champions League knockouts. Liverpool play them in the knockouts, and then that's it. I think Spurs are out. Yeah, Spurs are out. Arsenal are in there. Okay, that's the Champions League, and then the Europa League. Then we got Spurs. Yeah, Spurs are only in the Premier League. Spurs are only in the Premier League. Liverpool are in the Champions League. And Nottingham Forest and Brighton. Brighton left. Brighton are the only ones still in the competition. In the Europa League. So the only teams that are in European competitions are Spurs, Forest, and Liverpool. That's it. These are the only teams left. That's about it, man. I've got some. I play Dundee, Brighton, Dundee, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool away. We still have a chance. I mean, I think the best that we can aim for this team is a decent finish in the league. I mean, 7th on the table. Doing better and better and better. I mean, we are not far away. I mean, when the logos show up, yeah. We're not doing too badly. I mean, the teams ahead of us, the teams that are ahead of us are big teams. We beat Newcastle, it was a must-win game. Puts us in some contention, If we can just squeeze our way, we could make it 49-50. Spurs are too far ahead for me to chase down. And the matches that we have, our fixtures are going to be quite challenging. I mean, we got Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, all ahead of us. Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool, and Arsenal. All ahead of us. Spurs, on the other hand, what are their fixtures like? So their fixtures, Newcastle, Forest, Burnley, Man City, Hull. I mean, honestly, the only teams they have to worry about, Man City, Chelsea. Man City and Chelsea. So Spurs are in a good position to finish out the campaign in a European spot, right? Then Liverpool, look at this run when they've had. Liverpool had a very, very powerful run, very strong run. They're looking like champions. So they beat Brentford 1-0, and they've got Man City, Chelsea. Okay, they've got 3 tricky games. Okay, they got Carabao Cup final with Man City. Then they got Chelsea away, Newcastle away, and United away. So they have got 3 difficult matches. That's about it. No? I think this season I will not catch the league leaders, but I will definitely. Financially, I think we're doing okay, I guess. Financially, let's look at our finances. How's our board doing? Wow, we're 90 minus. The board is spending money. We're in debt, 90. They'll probably have to sell players. They'll probably sell them. They'll probably sell my players because balance is. We did so well last time. They still have a net debt of 441. They actually went down to 3-3-1 at one point, and still have debt. Now clearing the debt. At least one thing, they're not clearing the debt, but they're giving me players. I can't complain. Next Premier League, Arsenal for the title. Oops, wrong buttons. My bad. I pressed the wrong button. Arsenal for the title. I think United for the title. Why nobody believes me here? Why doesn't anybody believe me when I say Manchester United are going to win the title next season? I'm telling you, United are going to win the title. Michael Carrick I won over Guardiola, Arne Slot. You don't believe me? United will win the title next season. Manchester United will lift the Premier League title next season. Mark my words. Write it down in your calendar as my prediction for next season. Arsenal will not win. United will be the league champions. Mark my words. Arsenal will not win. Arsenal will now spend the next 20 years waiting for another league title. They do it. That's their style. Arsenal win one league title, spend 20 years hunting for the next one. United will get back to the pinnacle of greatness again. They will win the league title next season because I don't see United not doing well. They have the players. They have Jose Mourinho now looking fondly at them from Real Madrid. Yeah. Giving them players like Vinicius, Trent Alexander. Vinicius Jr. may not even be a player there. No. Even Aston Villa, but they won't be fine. I don't think so. Emery is class, but he doesn't have the players for him. Emery is a good manager, but Unai Emery, surprisingly, is not the manager of Manchester United. Yeah, I think United, you all don't believe me. I'm telling you, watch United next season. People are discounting United. No, I say United are the one team everybody is be worried about next season. Because United are united. Finally. They took a long time to actually become united. United are united. I hate saying that. It sounds so corny. But they took a while to get to the promised land, but they're now there. And they're doing better. They will win the title. Okay, guys, I'm hungry. I have to go. I have to eat food. I don't believe I'm going downstairs at 1 a.m. in the morning to look and make something for myself to eat. I have to make something. I didn't get what I wanted today. But I'm picturing something right now. I have this image in my mind that I cannot shake. It's got to do with an omelette and a French loaf. I've got this omelette and a French loaf, right? I have a French loaf and an omelette. So I can make this omelette with a French loaf, right? So I can just cut the French loaf up and then soak the French loaf in the omelette, in the eggs. And batter and then pan fry it. Wow. I think so. Will I be strong sellers, Rogers and Tielemans, and they will sell the debut? I think United are going to do it. Anyway, sir, ladies and gentlemen and my friends, I truly appreciate your loyal company. Thank you very much. Yes, I will be back for FM27. Of that, no doubt. And I'll be streaming. I did say that the hours are going to be slowly being extended. They will be extended. I wanted to do a video on this, but I thought doing a 7-minute video would not be enough. Maybe I'll do a 7-minute video that summarizes what I just did on this whole stream and say, go watch the whole stream for more details. I don't know. I think sometimes it makes more sense to, play the game, right? And show it instead of doing see, I can make a 7-minute video and tell you everything in a 7-minute video, right? But I think that somebody has to actually play it with that goal in mind for 2 hours, and then you can pick and choose. But maybe I should just trim it down to its bare bones. I can't because I didn't record the stream. I just looked across, no. I just looked across and say, the only way that will work is if I recorded the stream. I looked across and I go, whoopsie daisy, OBS was not recording the stream. So I guess I'm going to do it again tomorrow. So we'll be doing the same thing tomorrow, part 2. And this time to record it. Oh gosh. Okay, all right, guys. You have an awesome time. I shall catch you tomorrow. Good night.